the exact same way that we were before. Yeah, I just restarted. Didn't. Oh, I'll show you in the browser. Try clicking off. Yeah, basically I got all your chats. So it's still lagging a bit, but again, I think that it's just gonna have to we're just gonna have to wait until it fixes itself. Because Twitch be Twitch or OBS be OBS. That is the wrong screen. You guys are not supposed to be seeing that right now. What are you supposed to be seeing? Why is it not showing up? Bro, what? Cancel. Cancel. Fuck off. Okay. What? Where's the screen you're supposed to be seeing? One sec. There we go. Nope. There we go. That is it. Okay. What happened? We're back. We're live. I did a stream restart. Green is not a creative cloud. Creative color. Yeah, I saw that one. I saw this. Saw your aimbot? Shit, my bad, bro. My fucking bad. The weird thing about this is that OBS says my bitrate is fine, like it's above 5,000 right now, but it still says red. Are we good? Are we still buffering? Because I'm... Okay, now it just dropped down again. Bro, what? What is happening? I hate OBS sometimes. I think Streamlabs would be just as bad, but I hate OBS sometimes. You don't know? Don't hug me, I'm scared. What? One of hoops I just had to jump through to log Mothra into Shutter on her Kindle so she can watch Dracula. That's how it be sometimes. Goon works too, yeah. Might be a game. It's not the game. It's OBS. It does it sometimes. I've dealt with this enough times to know that quite literally nothing on my computer is the issue. My internet, very good. My CPU usage on OBS, not even like 2.2%. Like my CPU usage currently is probably at like 40% total, maybe. That's like a high estimate. So like, there's nothing that I can do to fix it. All of my stuff is optimized correctly. The only thing I could do is lower quality of stream, and I really don't want to do that. And when I've done that, it hasn't helped. Anyways, maybe it's a video source. I could try to take away the, let's see if taking away the sub goal actually does anything. Because that's the only new thing on this scene. No, it's literally, it's literally dropping as I took that away. When he hasn't seen Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Nope. Anyways, let's just continue. Let's do, Be a Man. And let's just hope that this works well. If it's not working well, please just be a little bit patient and it will fix itself. Trust me, it does this. It's usually the internet not being consistent. That's the problem, is that my internet is consistent. It's OBS, quite literally. It's a very common problem with OBS for a lot of people. OBS kind of has shithole moments sometimes. No buffering the last 5 minutes. Solid. We're just gonna keep rolling.
Like paying $150 for a first date,
That's loud.
and then you just ghost me. And the next week I'm like hurting for cash. I'm like, I could have really used that $150. Like, why did I have to?
Also, the trade-off of like going on a date.
Fine, I'll do a new quote. I wonder what this red button will do. Dumb ways to die. That one's a good one. That one's good for sure.
And as the man being like, oh, this sucks, I have to pay, or as the woman being like, oh, this sucks, I might get murdered, is like a pretty big imbalance.
How you guys doing?
That had no business being as loud as it fucking was. Jesus hell on a stick. Okay. Fuck, bro.
My name's Krishna. Thank you all for being here and talking through masculinity, what it means to be a man, etc. Obviously, we couldn't fit every man in the country into this room. We tried to get a diverse perspective, but of course, that caveat, we're not everyone.
All
I wanted
right.
to start by telling you why this is something that I'm interested in. I have an 8-year-old son, and I'm seeing him absorb.
Hold
what-
up, hold up. Sorry, YouTube fucked up the title of this. I gotta fix the title. The YouTube title just is not loading in for some reason. Do I know why? Nope. Do I know how YouTube lives work? Nope. But whatever. That should be updated. Is my Twitch title should be updated as well, right, guys? Do you guys see an updated Twitch title? If you have refreshed, if you haven't refreshed, it probably won't show up, but should be good for everyone now. All right, we're good to go. Good to go. Let's continue. Really? What are you whining about? You want on the couch? Come on. There you go. She was crying because she was asking permission to get on the couch and I didn't see her. Come into the tent, we're making pancakes. That's a good one. Good one for sure. Saw Hassan react to it. Okay. Well, you're gonna see me react to it too.
what manliness might mean. I'm thinking to myself, like, what does it mean to be a man? To start, maybe we could just introduce each other to each other. And if you were to describe what it means to be a man or to be masculine.
My name is Tahoe. I'm a black man from the hood. When I was young, being a man, you had to be tough. You had to be hard. And now, to me, being a man is a lot different. Now, to me, being a man is knowing when to be soft. Knowing that you don't always have to run the charge. You can actually listen. You know what I mean? So things have changed a
Facts.
lot over the course
You
of
can be
years for me.
soft as a
I'm
dude.
Griffin.
That's
I
like
don't identify as a
okay.
man. I'm non-binary. I still have elements of, my
This guy's famous on TikTok.
identity that are masculine, elements that are feminine, elements that don't fall within that range. And I
Basically,
personally
go to
just don't
bed.
feel
You
tied
have
to like
class
the,
soon. Go to bed.
the norms or the confines of gender at all.
Well, welcome.
My name is Dylan, and I think that the notion of masculinity is just something that can be possessed by man or woman. Man, woman, non-gender conforming person. What it means to be masculine is just like, changing and like very fluid. But I think that, masculinity is something that just, like you embody based off just like how you show up in this world as a man and just like, how you go about being your day-to-day.
How you show up. Interesting.
Yes.
What's up, guys?
That's
My name
fair.
is Paul. I'm
That's
a fitness
fair.
entrepreneur. I'm immigrant. I came here when I was 4 years old with my family. It's kind of funny how we're talking about it. My take on
For
masculinity
anyone who
is,
doesn't know, Alex is
is
just
not
quoting
about talking
Wubby.
as much as doing. I think at its core, a man has to be efficient, competent, and be willing to do what it takes for
You are a
themselves and
bitch,
their loved
Astro.
ones.
I was not always a good man. I was not always what you would call a healthy masculine man. And so as my life has changed, I've identified 5 points that I think
Also, Astro, I know you said you wanted to play this game. I'm currently playing a DLC, the like Gathering Storm DLC. Just so you're aware, this isn't the base game.
make a truly masculine man masculine.
Okay.
I think point number 1 is a man who walks with God. Point number 2 is a man who stands on principle. Point number 3, which is a masculine man, is self-sacrificing. So someone who is willing to sacrifice for point 4 the people that he leads. A true man is a leader. And number 5, a masculine man is never a coward.
That's a lot there.
Yeah.
Let's get into that as we go on.
I think what it
A
means to be a
masculine
man,
man is never a
responsibility.
coward.
as a man, it can come with a lot of power. And with great power comes great responsibility. In short words. That's it.
That's from Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah,
right?
that's what's
Uncle Ben.
James.
Well, my name is James Killen, former United States Marine turned Air Force officer. Got a couple combat tours, but I'm also a father of 3 girls who mellowed me out. The idea of masculinity is something that I find interesting because it is changing, and I can actually see those changes in
Not
myself.
quoting Wubby?
And
Wait,
I think
really?
that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this panel.
Thanks for your service. Andre.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, men.
Hey, what's up?
I think my idea of a real man
Buddy's probably
is,
stoned.
someone that gets the job done, and provides and all that. I don't even know what that means anymore, but yeah, I don't know. It's changing every day.
How do you think it's changing?
No, it just seems like everything's changing every day. It's like a new world order, so I have a hard time keeping up.
If you guys are super delayed, assuming you're still not buffering very much, you can refresh and it should fix it. If you're still buffering, it probably won't do shit. But if you're not buffering anymore, if you refresh, you should get back up to
With
live.
stuff. So I feel like tomorrow it's going to be something else, and people are going to comment and be like, "You're wrong. It's this now."
But it's hard to talk about some of this stuff because you feel like you might say the wrong thing.
I'm not really masculine myself, so I can't. I feel like I'm like the wrong person to ask. You know?
Maybe you're the right person to ask. Christian.
What it means to be a man is to be a adult human male.
That's sort of a very formal definition, but I think that might be a good place to kick off because there's a lot of talk, of writing, of research these days that says there's a crisis in masculinity.
Surprising answer
is there
from
a crisis in
Christian.
masculinity? And if so, like, what is that crisis?
The thing that I see is a lot of deconstructing generational trauma. The be a man, boys don't cry, you know, this, that, and the other thing. And I think that's actually one of the reasons why we see it as a crisis, because we're actually trying to redefine what it means to be a man, and none of us have any idea because we're just out here trying to be whoever we are.
That's right. I think that historically, being a man was rooted in patriarchy and misogyny. And now we
True.
realize how
True.
harmful that has been over the years. And so we don't really know how to define where we're supposed to be.
Except
And I think the
Elon.
reason that they're saying it's a crisis is because the
Good thing you waited for Bisky to leave before you said that you hated Elon. You got lucky there, buddy.
box has gotten so small for just being, say, straight, just being a hetero, right? Because if you do anything, women judge you.
What do you mean anything?
If I dance a certain way, or if I wear my hair a certain way, if I
What up,
dress a certain
Gifted?
way,
How you
real
doing?
men don't do that. Real men don't do that. And so you get scared to move a certain way because you don't want to get judged or outed out of the accepted part of your community. And I think that kind of has us in an uproar, and we don't know where to be. Like, where's the safe place to be for men now? You know what I mean? And it's kind of disturbing.
You know, I was what you would call a toxic masculine male growing up. And I had good men that sewed into me. You know, they gave me good advice, but I never found manhood or never understood my place as a man until one day I humbled myself and I gave my life to the Lord Jesus Christ. And I'm telling you right now, walking with God changed my life forever.
Can you define toxic masculinity? Like,
I would say toxic masculinity is like what he was just saying, where you're using that leadership role or that aggressive nature in a
See, if someone says that the only reason that they are the way they are is because of God, it kind of seems like a red flag to me. Not to be like mean to the religious people, but it just kind of seems like a red flag. Kind of seems like you don't know how to tell right from wrong by yourself and you need daddy up in the sky to tell you. I would like to know why they didn't tell people that that was Herschel Walker's son. I don't know.
harmful way to harm other people, to get your way. So the biblical structure for manhood is very humble. It's self-sacrifice, it's not self-motivated, but it is motivated by principle and standing on what's right. So there's a clear-cut vision for manhood in the Bible that I live by, and I think our culture used to live by, and I think our culture has lost its way.
I think everybody sort of has a different definition of toxic masculinity. I don't find masculinity toxic in and of itself, but I do believe in bad men, and bad men exist. But does that mean every man is toxically masculine? No.
We were talking about a crisis on
That's not what toxic masculinity means. It doesn't mean that every man is toxically masculine. If you're talking to someone who is saying that, then you're talking to an idiot. There is some aspects of like traditional masculinity that are toxic, right? For example, not being able to show any emotions. Technically, traditionally masculinity was very controlling of women, which is toxic.
Masculinity, I think that there's a lack of understanding there. So it's like masculinity being masculine isn't toxic.
He's
It's just like
villain
there are
arc.
portions of it that you can dive into that make it toxic.
Because I think a lot of what we think of masculinity is tied into patriarchy, right? Which is to say, like, for the longest period of human history, like, men dominated women and got the lion's share of stuff.
I think a lot of times some people make masculinity into a caricature, like it has to be this alpha bro tough guy.
Exactly.
And I find the low-key guy who, you know, is a really great father and a great husband and maybe not like drinking raw eggs every day.
Astro,
to be a lot
I'm
more
on the
masculine
exact
than
same
the
boat.
alpha bro who's going and like banging 20 women per weekend and not a responsible man. I find it more masculine to be a good guy.
I think that a background of this is that we are saying that gender is this like real thing that has real ideas and implications. And Griffin, I'm wondering, as someone who identifies as non-binary, how does this conversation strike you?
Well, I think that it kind of becomes like irrelevant whether or not we
What's this titled? Hold up. Okay. They specifically didn't put like men in the title of this. I like some of the things he has done, but on a personal level, he's a shit human.
attribute like having like a good ethical compass to being like masculine. Attributing that to like the gender constructs which we have made up, which are like somewhat pointless, like kind of just feed into needless roles that uphold the patriarchy without even knowing it. A lot of those things are just things that people should be doing because they're like morally right. Like if you're in a family, you should probably support your family. And I really don't think that it has to do with like your manhood.
These characteristics that we're talking about are baked into an old system of domestic life.
I think that's actually where we get toxic masculinity. Like none of us can really describe what it is, but we can see it when it happens.
So we learn it, right?
Yeah.
This is something we learn from the world. It's something we learn from like TV and shit. And it's maybe something we learn from our dads too. Tell me about your dad.
I'm a first-generation kid. My dad is from Guyana. Grew up in very humble beginnings, poor family.
Immigrant parents tend to have more, or immigrant kids tend to have more toxic parents. At least in my experience and from things that I've looked at, studies that I've looked at, they tend to have more toxic about home life in general, I guess you could say.
First time I remember my dad telling me he loved me was when I was 17. And he was like saying like he was proud of me because I was about to graduate high school and things like that, you know. I'm appreciative of all the other things, you know, being present as a provider, but in terms of like, you know, the conversation piece and like, oh, I want to talk to my dad about, you know, sex or something, or I want to talk to my dad about, oh, this person broke up with me and I'm feeling pretty sad about it. I didn't have those conversations.
So like emotional language is part of like how you talk to your dad.
Yeah.
And my definition of manhood came solely from my relationship with God. It didn't come from my father. It didn't come from the good influences around me.
Is God a man?
Yeah, and God is a man.
He is.
God is a father, and he's a good father. He's a perfect father. And so I think there is a clear definition of manhood where I guess that's where I diverge from everyone else in the room. I believe manhood is clearly
Didn't God's father like kind of push his son to like die for other people? Doesn't that like indicate like not caring for your actual son? Yeah, I mean, am I wrong here?
defined by God. It is the perfect example of what a man should be.
Christian, I see you nodding your head.
I grew up in a divorced home. When you do grow up in a broken home and you don't have a father in the home, you recognize how important sort of both
Yeah, you're good, Gifted.
males
I
and
get
females
it.
are in raising a child and being in the home.
There's a balance between, you know, masculine energy and feminine energy.
Absolutely.
And I feel like there's both within everybody. And so there's a balance that with masculine energy in itself that I think a lot of people have trouble trying to like reconcile within themselves. Like, yes, being a man, you work hard, you take care of your people,
I put my
but
thing
you gotta be able
down,
to have that emotional
flip
side too, which is
and
where
then
the feminine.
proceed to reverse it. I'd like to thank my toilet plunger for this.
Best J, is that Best J? Yeah, Best J. Some things are better left unspoken. Some things are better left unspoken.
The energy comes in.
Y'all just like triggered something in my head when y'all was speaking about having both in the home. To me, I didn't really have it there, and it made me feel a way.
Best
But
J is
I
not
think that I
delayed,
always wanted
guys.
one. And so
Best J is
I
not
wound up
delayed
at
at
a certain
all.
age going outside and trying to find what masculinity was outside. And
Same.
so I went on the corner, and there were 20 of us on the corner, and none of us had dads. We were all messed up, and so we all taught each other the wrong way to love, to be loved. And then I think in society, there's way more people like that.
And a lot of kids who don't have fathers in the home, excuse me,
no, you're good.
look for that father in the world or in a different way.
Well, first I think that like attributing like proper family values to like a heterosexual couple with children is like just not effective. Like I think that it's obviously like a heteronormative take to be like man and woman and then a child, and that's how you create like a good family. And whether it's like a single mother, single father, or like a queer couple, like I don't think that it's necessary to like attribute men and women to like certain roles in the household. I think that it's only due to nurture those gender norms that we follow.
Male and female matters. God gives you
I mean, yeah. So long as you have two good parents in the household, you're generally pretty set. When you have one parent, or no good parents, or one bad parent, that's when you get a little bit. It gets a little bit on shaky ground. But when you have two solid parents, whether or not they're gay parents or straight parents or whatever the fuck, you tend to be pretty well off. That was better left spoken. Sorry, I'm very anti-Christian, especially U.S. Christian. I mean, that's fair.
one of those identities, you take on that role. And now you're responsible for not or for fulfilling that role. There's a masculine crisis because men are not taking responsibilities for the God-given roles that they have in society. And so when you take away
Dude, Taco Bell sounds so
need
good.
to say, God made you this or God made you this, now you don't have to take
Dude, should I
responsibility for
order
not
Taco
fulfilling
Bell
what
right
you were
now?
called to do.
When you do that, you also take away other things that somebody else may do. If I have a
Kinda
woman
sounds good.
or a partner that wants to take on certain roles and I say, hey, those are my roles that God gave me in society, now I'm suppressing that person. Like at the end of the day, we're all human beings.
Dude, should I fucking order Taco Bell right now? What time is it? It's 11? I could order Taco Bell right now. I don't know if it'd actually be a good decision, but like I could do it, you know?
beings.
Yeah,
You define who you are and how you behave under God. That's what God gave us, free will.
But
and
also,
free
like,
speech.
I think that the religious beliefs should not be used to like dictate how other people identify or how other people live their lives.
Humans need predictability, and when we put each other in these boxes, it gives us the opportunity to make decisions quickly. And I think that's what we're fighting is as a civilization at the moment, is the desire to put 7.5 billion people in specific boxes so that we can have some sort of predictability or stability in our lives. I was an emotionally abusive young man in my 20s because I had an idea of
honestly,
what my
good on
life
you
should
for being
do,
able to
and it
admit
caused a
that.
lot of stress.
Why were you the way you were?
You know, I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of
I did a great job raising me. I made my own mistakes. You don't need two parents, especially if you're an only child. You don't need two parents. Like I'm not saying you absolutely need them, but I'm like statistics wise, you're better off if you have two.
pent up rage. I had, you know, some combat stress that I had to deal with also that I wasn't dealing with.
Yeah, that one
because
parent
men
has
don't
to be
show
great
emotion.
for that to
There
be
is a social
a good
construct
situation.
that benefits men. And so the responsibility that I've learned as I've gotten older is learning how to not enforce my power, learning over women, over people.
You're saying that that role gives men more privilege, like an advantage and privilege. I'm saying that it is more self-sacrificing. I do not have free time. I do not have hobbies. I do not wake up during the day and do what I want to do ever. I'm thinking about my wife, my kids, my business.
But that's your decision, and that's not like
Yeah, you just put yourself in that position. That doesn't make you a man to be in that position. You just put yourself there.
mandatory thing of your masculinity.
Well, if you believe that God is true,
I don't.
and you believe that He is God, then you do have that responsibility.
What privilege are you referring to? Like, what privileges do men have?
We've constructed this entire society to benefit us.
Break it down. Like, what privileges exactly?
Like we talk about the wage gap, or if you look at Roe versus Wade, men controlling women's bodies.
Even if there might be those privileges, there's also
not
more
what
men who
Roe
commit
was.
suicide, more men incarcerated.
I think when you talk about like incarceration rates and things like that, like things that men are a victim of, I think that it's important to like recognize, like, I don't think that men are oppressed solely on the grounds that they're men. I think that men
But Shay, I think you're less delayed than the rest of them. But yeah, you're all delayed because my bit rate's hella low and it's OBS is being a bitch today.
like experience oppression based on like the intersections of their identities, which is, you know, why we see like different like lower class jobs being worked by men, or like higher suicide rates, or like incarceration rates going up, because like men, like black men, brown men, indigenous men, queer men, trans men, etc. Those people like face oppression, they experience oppression, but it's not solely due to their identity as a man.
But I think dating and sex is probably a very interesting place to think about this because it's changing field as far as like what people expect of each other.
I date in New York City a lot, and dating wise, there's a lot that's like asked of a man. Like first dates are like nightmares. Dude, it's like, I'm like, what do you want? They got like a checkbox like,
Yeah, no, everyone's delayed. I'm sorry. If you refresh, it might fix it, but it might not. I wish there was actually something I can do, but there in fact is not.
you're gonna pick me up? Are you gonna walk on the outside of the sidewalk? Are you gonna open the door? Are you gonna pull out the seat? Are you gonna pay for the meal? Are you gonna be interesting during the dinner? Are you gonna be funny during the dinner? And then when you walk home, are you gonna drop me off? Are you gonna watch me walk inside? And then are you gonna text me after? And it's like
Some of those things are just basic human decency, being a man in society. Some of them I would get on board with him with. Like the whole idea that men have to pay for literally everything. That is an idea that a lot of people have. That is fucking stupid. But at the same time, you still should be a decent person, and you should be able to recognize that you, as a dude, have the ability to have the upper hand in a lot of situations, and you should be able to use that for good. It's the restream. No, it's not. It's OBS. Again, Astra, this happens all the time with OBS for me. This is my first day using restream, yes, and it's happening today, but this happens quite a bit with me with OBS. And I was trying it earlier because it was happening earlier, and I turned off restream and everything, and it was still doing it.
trying to defuse a bomb. Like if you think you're like red wire, blue wire, and you're like one little thing and you're just done. And it's like, I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm so tired of like paying $150 for a first date, and then you just ghost me. And the next week I'm like hurting for cash. I'm like, I could have really used that $150. Like, why did I have to, you know what I'm saying?
Like, the trade-off of like going on a date and as the man being like, oh, this sucks, I have to pay, or as the woman being like, oh, this sucks, I might.
That's true, except this happens all the time. Not like all the time, but it happens pretty frequently. Like frequently enough for me to notice it and have gone through all of the forums and shit to fix it. This is the first time using Restream, and it is doing the exact same thing that it's done a million times before.
Get murdered is like a pretty big, imbalance.
On a first date, should the man or whoever identifies as the man on the date pick up the check? Show of hands. Who thinks yes?
Yeah, should is a weird.
That's why.
To me, it depends who asked for the date. Whoever asked for the date pays for the date.
Okay, sorry. How would you put it?
I very much love gender roles. I like masculine men, and I want my masculine man to pick the check up. My friends seem to be the same. My girlfriends seem to want that as well. But I have a male friend who was naturally doing that. And with the dates he was going on with women, they were offended that he took the check. So I think hey, if
It all depends on the people involved. But still, at the end of the day, if you ask to take someone on a date, you should be expecting to pay for said date. If they offer or they want to split or whatever, cool. But you should be expecting to pay for that date.
She can go off.
I think it's a matter of preference. If someone picked it up for you, you develop a kind of rapport, respect with that person. So be it. If the other person, the woman you're with doesn't want that, then maybe it's not the match for that person. So I think it's dependent on the situation.
Only 5
I
seconds is
think that
actually
there's such
really
a thing
good.
as financial abuse. And men seem a lot of time because they spend that a woman has to be under them or owes them something.
I think that's when it gets toxic.
Me personally, I love to take care of my partner. I love that feeling that I give them that they're taken care of when they're with me. And that's when it's with friends, anybody. If you're with me, I got you.
I guess what I'm hearing from you, Andre, is that there's a lot of pressure to inhabit.
Why do you only see the thing when they show on screen? Do you only see things when they show on... What? What do you mean? Like chats? The chats show up on screen at the same time that I see them. So whenever your chat shows up on screen is when I can see it. You're probably a full minute behind, yes, because I keep buffering. That's just how it be sometimes. I don't know, fam. You guys might do better in YouTube, but I don't think so. I think that one's buffering just as much too. But I think we're gonna try to power through it. I feel like powering through it is the best option here. I already tried restarting it, so. Shit.
The masculine side of the social expectation, and yet you might not get the benefit that you would have expected generations ago, and that puts you in a weird position.
Yeah, well, we live in a city where there's 8 million people, and a lot of these girls, especially if you're really attractive, guys are hitting on them all day, so they feel like celebrities. You got so many options. I don't blame you. I'd be the same way. It becomes
There's always somebody better.
I think technology has a big part to do with that now. Modern times, online dating, Instagram.
Especially as a girl, you're gonna have 30 DMs a day.
Yeah, the
You know what I'm saying? Swipe it up on your
I think that's a big reason why.
But you just said it's the first time using a restream. It's definitely not helping. You don't drop frames, you pause, then pick up. If it was dropped frames, it would be an OBS thing exclusively. I'm telling you, what is happening right now is exactly what OBS has done for me many times, and has done for a lot of streamers I know. You said you're a failed streamer. I don't know how recently you've streamed, but for the last month and a half, OBS has done this for so many streamers. So much more than it has in the past, because I've used OBS for a while, on and off for a while. The last month and a half has been horrible with OBS. Mobile always has more latency than anything else, just so you guys know.
It can be tougher for some men.
Not successful. I think what he's saying is
But Astra, I've talked to a lot of streamers about this.
As well. There
Don't
is
worry,
a
buddy.
toxic side to
I know
both
what I'm
genders.
talking about.
I think anybody can be narcissistic, but I think that it's weird to randomly attribute that to women in New York because they're being complimented all day.
There's a term, it's called absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, but that is, when we talk about masculinity, that's what we've had. We've typically had that. We can do whatever we want, and we do it because we squeeze, we corrupt, historically, you take over things, places that you don't like, and you rape the women, and you take the gold, and you do what you want because you have that power. Now when we see women
Yes,
have
what
that
Alex
power, we're
said.
whoa, she's
I'm
literally
trying,
just getting a
guys.
taste of the power that men have had for centuries.
But on the flip side of this perspective of dating, of the poor guy who goes on these dates and gets ghosted and it's a struggle to date, on the other side of that is men have more sex, men cheat more, they have more affairs. So if I'm a woman and I'm looking for a guy, I would be really selective. I would have a list of what I was looking for, and the guy would have to meet those standards and they would be high.
I think over the last several years, the Me Too movement has given a lot of insight into what women are feeling in the workplace, what they're experiencing, how they're being abused and otherwise silenced, how institutions of power have kept them silent.
Don't even get
And
me
we've heard some really awful
started.
stories and some terrible shit.
Too
I want to hear
movement.
from you guys what you think about what the Me Too movement did. Has it gone too far? What does it mean for you?
I think it's good for women to expose men who are doing evil things in the workplace. I think it's been a good thing in exposing sexual abuse. There's also the opposite side of that coin where women are allowed privilege to do certain things that men are not. So in the workplace,
Yeah,
I
that's
was
where
working
the
at a place
issue
where a
comes
woman was
in.
grabbing me inappropriately, doing things that were inappropriate. And when you bring that up to your coworkers, you know what they say? They laugh and they say, you should be excited. Right? So if a man is sexually abused, the stigma totally changes.
Well, I don't think Me Too necessarily like is what prevented people from believing you in your story. And like your story is valid. Like I'm not here to suppress that, but I do think that like it's
I think he's more talking about the fact that Me Too didn't speak on that. Like, it didn't give a fuck. It didn't give a fuck about sexual assault. It was about women, not sexual assault. Even though it put on this front of being about sexual assault.
worth noting. Women are far more likely to be victims of sexual assault.
You just experienced a little bit of weakness that women feel.
Women are more likely to be victims. On the flip side of that, men are a million times more likely to not report it and not be able to say anything about it, so we don't actually know. Okay? I have seen quite literally videos posted on TikTok that never got taken down of men being sexually assaulted at parties. It's just a matter of society doesn't see it as sexual assault, even if it fits the bill, because it's men.
Most of the time.
When we're talking about constructs, you know, you guys are saying we need to deconstruct masculinity. I'm saying there are unequal biases with both genders.
When it comes to it not necessarily being as viewed as valid, it happens to be the case because of other men, though. You know what I'm saying? Like other men are the people that downplay that, and that's where we come back to the topic of patriarchy and things like that.
It was put in place by men and is enforced by men.
Oh, and I went for a walk to get dinner last night. And I walked several blocks because I wanted to check out a few things. And it was dark. Not a single time did the idea that I would be physically or sexually assaulted cross my mind. Not a single time.
Well, you would be wrong because you are more likely to get assaulted physically than any woman is. Just so you know, sir.
I can imagine that doesn't really work out for women.
It comes down to biological differences. As a man, you're more likely to be able to have more of a chance to fend off someone attacking you. As a woman, not really. So that's why, you know, we have things like mace and tasers or having a gun.
Is it something about it's hard to admit that you're a victim?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And to complain about it.
It goes
People
back
look
to
at you
not
like,
being able to
remember
show
Terry
your
Crews?
fucking
He gets
emotions.
his nuts
Crazy
squeezed
how
and
that
shit, right?
works.
It's like,
You know?
why don't you do something? Why'd you let him?
Look how the world ridiculed it. You know, oh, you ain't do nothing. Like, oh, you a bitch. You know, so we as men, especially super guys that grew up in super masculine houses, we don't really like to admit weakness.
Well, and it's in our language, right? Like, don't be a bitch. Like, don't be a pussy.
Right.
Like, it's very
We
real.
internalize that.
But that's all examples of like toxic masculinity. Like it's never to invalidate somebody's experience, but like it must be obvious that like these are rules and roles enforced by men and created by men.
Well, in toxic masculinity and power kind of go hand in hand. I mean, we're talking about peanut butter and jelly.
See, people who say that generally follow it up with, so you can't be complaining about it. Like when they say, oh, these are created by men and they hurt men, so shut the fuck up. That's normally where that conversation goes. That is the most fucked up way of looking at that conversation. But it happens all the time.
You know what it is? I think sometimes we gotta go to work and like if we're caught complaining about it, we're like admitting weakness, it's like you're not a man.
How does that feel?
It doesn't feel great, but that doesn't stop me from doing what I need to do. If you talk about a little bit of pressure that goes with it, yeah, there's a little bit of pressure. If you can withstand it, you become a successful man.
But what does that have to do with being a man? Like, surely like a woman can do all those things, so why even attribute it to your gender?
That's a good point, but I think also, if you're talking in terms of biological differences, generally, men are more logical, right? More reasoning, more
I disagree.
factual-based.
There's no scientific backing for that whatsoever.
I just think it's a commonly used stereotype. I mean, I'm
I'm just maybe talking about, okay, you guys can say that. I think more about me. Like,
There
I'm
is
more
not
like a
backing
logical,
for that,
more
really.
factual-based guy. Like, I have emotions, but, you know, I don't let that deter me from what I need to do, like my reasoning.
Do you talk with people about your emotions a lot?
I mean, I have friends. I have close guy friends I can talk to.
You do?
Yeah.
There's an interesting thing came out where like guys these days have fewer than 3 friends. Like it's hard for men to make friends with each other.
I think that's a big problem now in modern times.
Fewer than 3 close friends, I believe it is.
You hear about, you know, the suicide rates going up. I think that's a big reason for it. Men aren't allowed to talk about it with safe people. So if you talk about masculinity crisis, that's a crisis right there.
I think that men find friends very easily in terms of like, oh, yo, you lift 240, I lift 242, let's like spot each other like basketball or whatever. But I think that we have superficial relationships in those friendships, you know, in which like it's very like surface level.
Yeah,
coming back
it's
to what
not
you're
like
talking about. We don't talk about
close
feelings
friends.
and things like that. That comes back
You
to
don't
how you're
get
brought up and
fucking
how like
close
boys
to
talk
people.
in certain ways, how we go about talking to each other and how we go about expressing ourselves.
how much of this is men putting ourselves in a little box. I can tell you, I wouldn't have shared my emotions with people when I was younger, but I have people in my life now who I feel completely comfortable sharing my insecurities, my vulnerabilities, you know, how I'm feeling. That ends up being one of the reasons why men end up with limited friends. Because, I mean, how many people can you actually feel like you can be open and honest with?
But there's something holding people back.
Yeah, and I think it's us. I think we're doing it because we're putting ourselves in this masculinity box, if you will.
But it's not you as an individual. That's the thing. Like, you as an individual, yes, you can work and you can get over it. That is possible. But at the end of the day, this is something that is instilled on literally every fucking, not literally, but the majority of dudes from fucking birth. And that's where the problem lies, because if you're instilled in, don't show your feelings, grow a pair, you know, fucking man up. If you're instilled in that, then you learn it and you internalize that shit. And then you think that that is the only way to be, which becomes a problem when you start having emotions that you need to talk about.
I think that vulnerability for men oftentimes is viewed as surrender, and like that is you know what I mean, that's an example of weakness in which like someone can possibly take advantage of it, or it used to be viewed as such, you know, where it's like, all right, cool, like he cried, oh, that means he's soft, so now I can challenge him.
And this is something that I really struggle with as a black man that grew up in the hood. You couldn't be soft. You couldn't come outside. You know what I'm saying? So you had to take on this persona in order to be a quote unquote man. As I got older, I realized I still had to do that with women. I had to be a certain way for them to look at me as a man. And if I didn't perform in that manner, they also called me a bitch.
Yeah, they want a real, like,
right?
poster.
So it's like, as progressive as I may want to be, is the world accepting of that as a whole? Because even if the other men don't like it, but the women like it, I might be like, I don't care what the guys think, as long as the women like it.
No,
but there are spaces where the women will be like,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. There are plenty of women that like a dude who talks about his emotions, and there are plenty of women who don't. The women who don't, guess what it's remnants of? The fucking people who teach little kids, little boys, to not show any emotion. That is all what that stems from, because as, for example, if you have a brother, you see that. If your dad was taught that, you see it. Like, all of these things contribute to everyone's perceptions, not just men's. I think it mostly affects men, but there are definitely women who this also still affects.
In his butt, sorry.
No, let's talk about fingers.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my type of guy. He's not my type of guy, and I can't be open with sex or accepting having gay friends. Pardon, you know.
That's what you like?
But I can't, right. You can't be open about certain things because then you become questionable and you're pushed out of the safe space.
You know, sex is a difficult thing for men to talk about, even with each other, especially if you do have some kind of kink.
Because you're not allowed to be vulnerable. You're not allowed to be weak. You're not allowed to fail. And a lot of people that, when you say the suicide rates, you give up because you have nowhere to turn.
I kind of disagree with you on the fact that pressure is causing. I think it's more the lack of support and guidance for a lot of guys. Like, they don't know where to turn. Like a lot of guys, you know, suicide, I think, is like when you lose hope, right? So they just don't have hope.
Dude, what about not wanting to go get it? Because there's places to be. There's people to go. You can go to church.
You're a lover dick?
As much as you say that, but I don't feel like, you know, when
I'm a lover dick? I'm a lover of dick? Yeah. Also, I know there's a delay. It should go away soon. We're back up into the green. If you have been here a while through the delays, this is your time to refresh, because it looks like bitrate has fixed itself finally. But you're a lover of dick. Yeah, I am. Anyways, because you're new here, welcome to the chat. Where are you from, and what are your general political views, buddy?
you say guys don't want to express weakness, I think taking that step is hard for a lot of men, because then that expresses weakness. It's hard for a lot of guys.
You know what's interesting? That what I'm hearing is that as men, you also are victimized by the sexist expectations of masculinity.
It also makes it hard for men to love themselves and love themselves enough to understand that they're in trouble, you know, and I know that's something that happened in my life. It was before I did finally go to therapy and get the demons out that I needed to get out. It took me meeting a woman who actually made me want to love myself.
You found a woman who gave you peace and changed you a lot. Well, great. If a man is dating a woman and she doesn't like that he's not masculine enough, it's kind of like, to me, I feel like too bad for him. He should go find someone else. That's part of the dating scene. Everyone has things that they like and things that they don't like.
I feel like your preference is your preference, but at like some point, I think it's like noteworthy and responsible to like understand where those preferences or like originate.
Not necessarily. I think our life.
What up, Deuce? How's your night going, buddy? Because you're new here, where are you from, and what are your general political views?
Experiences form what we really
Carlos,
want
explain
in our
yourself.
dating life. And because I grew up in a broken home and I didn't have a man in the house, I want a man who gives me security and protection. I don't think me deconstructing masculine is gonna do that for me. I was missing that in my childhood, and that's what I want in a man.
I tend to diverge from like the Freudian daddy issue stuff when it comes to like what people like.
Congratulations, I'm so happy for you. I want a man who gives me security.
Thank you.
I think if I'm with a woman and the bad dates I've had is when I'm like talking about my problems, I'm complaining about something, I'm not gonna see that woman. If I'm projecting more strength, I'm more charismatic, I'm positive, I'm probably gonna see that woman.
Well, yeah, if you're on like a first date, you don't talk about all your goddamn issues. That's just social awareness, dumbass. But if you have gotten to know someone, you should get to know your partner, assuming you're actually dating and not just fucking around and having first dates. You should get to know someone, and you should get to know someone to the point where you both can talk about your problems and such, and help each other with those things. Brazil and Elite, what does that mean?
So I think as much as like guys, you know, you want guys to be vulnerable, that doesn't work a lot of times. And I think it just comes down to that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what it is. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
And it sounds like a lot of you are saying that's wrong.
I'm
Yeah,
not saying
and it's
wrong.
like-
I'm not saying
it's like-
wrong. I think it is what it is.
I just think that society teaches you have to be a certain way.
And that's really
And that's my issue. Because
Right.
if this is who you are, your character, right? It just blossoms into this person that loves to pay for dates, loves to open doors,
Daria
loves to
and
walk in the house, then
fascist
that's
and proud of
fine.
it,
But when
apparently.
society tells you
Okay.
that from a young boy, if that's the only way to be as a man.
Can't tell if you're trolling or if that's your legit thing. So if you're legit, you seem to be proud of it, considering you're like openly stating it and shit. Why is that?
This is the only way to be. And you think about things like, say, people on the down low that don't want to come out till later because they're scared of societal pressures, right? You should be able to be whoever you want without society telling you you have to be this way in order to fit in this box.
Pressure is on like the body. Like pressure is to be buff, to like look good.
There is a certain pressure, I guess you can call it, for guys to look a certain way, especially if they're trying to attract women. So I think it comes down to just men who look a certain way tend to look more competent.
All right,
protect.
kids.
I was just gonna add on to what you were saying. If a guy looks fit, if a guy looks strong, okay, as a girl, she's probably thinking, if I'm on the street and somebody tries to do something to me, I know that he can handle it.
I also think generally, like, guys who don't have the body that they're looking for, or generally, they're not as healthy. It's not just a look thing, it's just a health thing.
Yeah, that's
you know,
it.
the
Some things is health, some things is looks. All right, being ripped is in fact very unhealthy, for example. But being obese is also in fact pretty goddamn unhealthy. Okay, there's a middle ground for all of these things.
body and mind are connected. If someone is
disrespect my
strong, they're probably
pronouns.
gonna
I
look
can
strong,
do
and
whatever
they're
the
probably gonna
fuck I
feel
want.
strong. So I think when you say it's a pressure, I think it can be construed as a healthy pressure. Hey, get strong, be strong, because you're gonna be a healthier and more mentally fit individual.
For
That's right,
example, I
baby.
was a gymnast, and I think, you know, the training that I did not only trained my body, but it ended up training my mind and making me a stronger human, period.
As the skinniest person here,
Pretty skinny.
you skinny? All right. As the second skinniest person here. No, it's like, I don't know. It's like,
Not problem which gays? I'm guessing you're saying not a problem with gays? I didn't... Oh, you said JK. Well, if you're gonna use gay in that context, it usually means you have somewhat of a problem.
yeah, you do. I've had a bunch of girls like friend zone me, and I'd be like, why? And they're like, you're just too skinny. And I'd be like, damn. I mean, they kept it so real, I can't.
That's, yeah,
But I'm
kind of
like-
him to say that, yeah. Is saying that there is a good and natural connection between like feeling good, healthy habits, looking good, and that there's a masculine ideal to that of some sort. Does anyone disagree with that here?
I do. Body diversity exists across like multiple spectrums, and I think that it's unfair to like only attribute like mental fortitude and like mental strength to like physical strength. Not having like a perfectly in shape body doesn't necessarily mean you're unhealthy by any means, and I also don't think it necessarily means that you
Exactly.
like lack mental fortitude.
I don't think I'm saying that to look strong is the only way to be mentally strong. I think as long as you feel like you have a competent physical body, I think that's going to benefit your mental health.
How do you define competent?
I think in terms of what you're trying to do. So are you a student? Like, what are your endeavors in life?
Me?
Yes.
I'm a student athlete.
Okay, what
And-
kind of sport?
I'm a springboard diver.
Okay, do you train to do springboard diving?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you feel good when you train and you do well on the springboard?
Yeah.
I think that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. And if you feel competent at the endeavors you're trying to do, I think that's
But I think
what
that there
contributes to
are
a
lots of
mental.
like
Okay, that's not necessarily... That's not the fucking beam of health. If you feel confident sitting at your desk and, for example, like coding all day, but you're obese as shit, it's not healthy.
unathletic people who may not be in like like the same physical shape as like an athlete would be, who are competent in what they're trying to do because that like action has nothing to do with like their like.
So
their-
that's where I
That's
disagree
true,
with
Alex.
you.
It's
That's where I
a
disagree
pure
with you. I
skill.
think some people who don't realize the potential for their physical to blend into their mental is something that needs to be talked about. I think it's undervalued.
It's not that you have to work out to have a competent mind. It's that working out does help with competency. We already know when you work out, endorphins are released. People feel better. There's so many times I wake up, I don't want to go to the gym. It's going to be the worst day ever. I'm in a bad mood. I go, my endorphins are released. I'm great. I'm woken up. Like we have the science for that. So
Especially
I
if I'm
think
not
it
like
plays very little. We've had presidents in wheelchairs that were very confident, successful men who couldn't walk. And so I'm going to say that it doesn't define you
I
as
think
a
there's
man.
always a
But it's the societal pressure to be in shape for men.
Yeah, like the whole like disabled people thing is kind of a straw man, because that is the minority of people. We're talking about the general male population, and a lot of people see disabled people as not manly, like disabled men as not manly. So that's even more of a straw man there.
I
And
don't.
then when I don't like when I'm having sex, my stomach like is over her butt or whatever. Like I want to eat less. Me, but
Paul can
nobody's
change
like, "Yo,
that."
you're fat.
we've spent all this time like deconstructing masculinity and all these things, but then it seems as though if a woman or someone dating says, hey, I want a swole guy, suddenly it's like, sorry, I don't think that's a societal pressure. That's what that woman wants and she's entitled to have.
But I also, you know, I have body type.
Hey, yo, it's in the fucking rules. English only.
Yeah, I agree with
preferences.
that.
Like I'm not gonna say what it is, but there's certain girls where I'll go on it and I'm like, you don't really have what I'm looking. I don't say that because that's the dick, but in my head, I'm just like, this isn't gonna work.
It's one thing to have a preference and another thing to make like a sweeping like conclusion and then like broadcast.
Tell
it
me your
everywhere.
experience with dicks.
Because
you realize how weird of a question that is to ask,
70%
right?
of CEOs are over the
Like you do have
size,
that kind of
6'4",
that amount of
yeah.
social
So
awareness,
there
right?
is amongst men a pressure to be bigger, and bigger men tend to be in charge, and that's
Gymnastics, diving, dance, aerial, rhythmic, pole, cheer. I can't think of many more non-biased sports, and a lot of those who fight for sport equality are in those. Yeah, I mean those sports, your body as so long as you're like in shape, your body doesn't really matter, which is probably the only sports where like that. For example, like trans people in sports would be a possibility, a like decent possibility. It's a good question. It's a weird question. Okay. Do you have autism? Is that why you're asking people, random people on the internet, about their sex lives? Because it is a weird question. I'm just saying. If you stayed a while and got to know me, right, and then asked that question, you might answer it. I might answer it. A couple days ago, we did talk about sex with some of my regulars. But you guys just joined, and we're not doing that.
proven, statistically proven. And
It's normal in
there
my
is a
country,
pressure
great.
for
It's
men
not
who are
normal in mine,
naturally
and it's
smaller,
not normal in this
naturally
chat
overweight,
or on
naturally not as
Twitch.
fit, to become fit or to become bigger.
Well, and every one
And
of
I
us
think-
here have heard little man syndrome.
Oh yeah,
We've all
who hasn't heard that
every one of
saying?
us have
He's
heard
got Napoleon syndrome. He's got little man syndrome.
That's the thing, though.
Yeah,
There's nothing you can do about it, and that's where it becomes harmful. Specifically, like short king spring or whatever. Like a person, I mean, you can't there's like I guess like on Twitter I've seen like people getting a surgical procedure to break their legs and add 6 inches to their height or something like that.
It's stuff you can.
You know what I mean? It's like but like besides that, which is like a really expensive procedure, is also like comes into socioeconomic background and things like that as well too.
And
It's
you're
like
never
you literally
Why
you
did the
literally can't
Globes
do anything
cross the
about that. I think
street?
that's where it becomes harmful.
To get to
Like,
Taco
if there's
Bell.
a pressure in which like I can't date a person or I can't
Always
like,
to get to
a
Taco Bell.
position or I can't do X, Y, and Z because I'm not a certain height or something I literally cannot change about myself. What now?
What is big dick energy?
It's when confidence crosses the
It's confidence and also respect. I think Grant's big dick energy.
line of arrogance.
To flee from adventurous, I mean that's facts.
People told me I have BDE.
You have
I would if I saw him in public. I
You did in
would.
that back room.
Not to show off.
Even he said, look at that.
I think BDE is like just a confident man. I don't think it's an arrogant man. I don't find arrogance to be big dick energy. I find it to be insecure. If you're arrogant, you're trying to like,
I find it so odd to equate somebody's like the size of
You know what big dick energy is actually? Driving one of those little Fiats or a Mini Cooper. That just shouts big dick energy.
their genitals to like the quality of their character. Like what? That has
It's
nobody's
a lot of
business.
odds. More of just like a metaphor.
I don't know.
Yeah, for confidence.
See, but
It's not really
but
like
then it comes back. Now we're getting into like a deeper conversation, which like some men see a value based off the size of what they carry between their legs. You know what I mean?
Type of dick do I prefer? Dick. Any dick.
Yeah. So like that's why the conversation of big dick energy comes into place because people feel as though like a man that's like more that's packing more down there, you know what I mean, is more like, you know, one, they're better in bed, they're like more confident people, they're exuding a certain energy. So that like the stereotypes, you know, so the stereotypes associated with having a big dick.
The lack of a need to overcompensate to society because you know you're adequate.
You know what you got.
You
You're
walk
confident.
with confidence because
Right.
you like you can tell when somebody's putting on because they lack in certain ways. And men,
Yeah, like when they drive a lifted huge truck. Yeah.
me and people I know equate manhood and masculinity to their dick size and how much money they got. Like it's like, yo, you feel more
And that's
confident.
wrong.
And sometimes that kind of stuff bleeds into violence. And you see that in domestic violence situations, like men are like the perpetrators of that by and large. There's something wrong with masculinity when it becomes violent.
100%. I also think because of testosterone and a number of different things, men are inherently more violent.
But being able to control it, that's
Yeah,
that's the
we should
important.
keep
It's being able to
self-control.
control
That's where the
Yeah.
responsibility comes in.
Yeah.
I think you know you hear the whole saying like it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war, and I think there's a lot of wisdom behind that saying.
Oh, George Orwell said people sleep peaceably in their beds at night because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. I think that's a big thing, but the key is to be ready, to have the ability, and also the humility.
The ability to do what? If the ability is like physical violence, the ability to do physical violence, that doesn't make you a man. And by preparing to be able to do physical violence, if that is what you're preparing for, that makes you even less of a man.
And the confidence to not use it unless it's absolutely necessary. I don't think we teach boys that enough because I think promoting violence is extremely toxic.
Is there something inherently violent about
Okay,
masculinity?
true.
Inherently violent? I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. If a majority of men were bad, evil, violent, a lot of us would not be sitting here today. Okay, we'd still be in the Stone Age. You know what I mean? That's why I kind of push back against that idea that inherently men are violent, inherently masculine.
Men are not inherently violent, but men are taught violence. A lot of men are taught violence.
Is bad, is violent, because
It's all
I
socialization.
don't believe that that's true.
Why do you think that such a vast majority of mass shootings are done by men?
I think that's a mental health issue. I think that, and this is why we're talking about men in crisis. Yeah, because men are more willing to do what they have to, to not do what they have to do, but to take action in terms of that. And that's how we're talking about.
So I said this to my best friend, and I think it's true here. If you revel in negativity, there's something wrong with you. If you enjoy when people dislike you, there's something wrong with you. That's facts.
This, men in crisis. A lot of those mass shooters are males because a lot of males.
Why
they
is
don't know how
everyone
to
declaring war
have
on
an
me,
outlet
bro? What
or
the
to find
fuck?
outlets to talk about what their issues are. That's what it comes down to.
Okay,
We know that
I'll
these
just
mass
take him
shooters, most
over,
of
I
them
guess.
are white males. We know that. So when I talk to a lot of white males that have traditional values, say, or maybe a traditional upbringing, they feel like they've been made to be the villains of society. And so I feel that pressure a lot of times. I feel like, hey, like when we're having this conversation, even I hear words like patriarchy, traditional society, right? So I feel like I'm being put in a box and made to be the villain. And I hear this from a lot of white males. I feel like I'm the bad guy. I feel like I'm the villain. So maybe at some point, mentally, they're breaking and becoming that villain. They're becoming that monster that they've been made out to be.
Be the exception. If you're worried about being put into a box that is one that is like clearly harmful based on like what people are doing, then don't do that. Mass shooters is like obviously like a sensitive topic, but
The problem with that take is that is damn near the same thing as saying, well, a lot of people think that black people are criminals, so if you're black, just don't be a criminal, problem solved. That solves absolutely no problems. Absolutely none. Because that also insinuates that like a majority of men are mass shooters or some bullshit. Okay, a majority of mass shooters are men. Yes, that does not make a majority of men mass shooters. It's the same thing as the majority of women, or like a good amount of women, are raped within their lifetime. That does not make a majority of men rapists. Let me backtrack. A majority of women are raped by men. That does not make a majority of men racist or rapists. Those two do not equate. That is not how fucking statistics work.
a lot of them are like men with like little to no friends who like go out and in like a burst of rage commit like atrocities. And I don't think that it has to do with how they're hardwired as men. I think that it has to do with how society like treats people like that.
I agree with you on the point that men need support and they need someone to talk to and talk about these issues.
I don't think that men have been taught emotional intelligence throughout life, right? We know, so we respond with anger. All right, if I'm disappointed, if I feel resentment, or I feel contempt, or I feel embarrassment, or I feel jealous, or any of these things that fall under that one thing, we respond with one way. And if we learn how to communicate better, if we were able to say, yo, you know what? I resent that you spoke to me that way. Or, you know, I feel jealous, you know, of whatever. If it was okay for men to express those things, we wouldn't feel a need to just go, you know what? Fuck you.
You can take any two 3-year-olds. You take a 3-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. I have 2 girls. You know, their first instinct is to lie to me, to manipulate me, to say their sister said this when she didn't. I have a friend that has all boys. You know what they do? They throw a fire truck at your head. Bam. That's a natural response. That's not a learned behavior. They're taught.
Oh, that's totally a learned behavior. You
Yeah,
give
that's-
kids
that's a
only
learned
like
behavior.
cars and gun.
It's actually okay. Fun fact, guys. I found this one really interesting when I found out about it. So there was a study done on practically infant boys. They were like very young toddlers, all right? Boys and girls. And it was looking at their responses to a baby crying. And it had like heart rate monitors, it had all the monitors on them and everything, so they could see like all of the physiological responses as well as the actions that these kids did. And what they found was that the girls were more likely to go to the baby or try to go to the baby, try to soothe the baby. This was a fake baby, by the way, but it was through like a baby monitor, I believe. So they tried to go to the baby monitor, talk through that, try to soothe the baby. The men, or the boys, they were so overwhelmed by emotion, and this is shown through the physiological responses in their body. They were so overwhelmed by emotion that they didn't know what to do, and they did anger, and they tried to break the baby monitor that was making the baby cry. Okay? Now, what does this show? If anything, this shows that men actually have more emotions than women, and it shows that men need to be taught even more than women how to deal with their emotions. And what is taught? Oh, the exact opposite. What happens when you have heavily emotional people running around not knowing how to deal with their emotions, and acting on their emotions, but on their secondary emotions, such as anger and hatred? What happens then? What do you guys think happens then?
And G.I. Joe action figures and give girls Barbie dolls. Like you
I don't think you could say it's one or the other. I think there is some interplay between both.
Thank you guys for your honesty, your like willingness to go to uncomfortable places, willingness to debate one another. Yeah, I'm interested to
That felt very short. I know we've been doing this segment for like probably 45 minutes, and we've been watching it on fast speed, but that felt very fucking short. No bitches? What do you mean no bitches? Anyways, I have one more masculinity type video. It's called "Do Women Really Have It Harder?" It's from Jubilee. Let's just jump in.
The only thing that I could think that justifies being a feminist today is you must just want to get laid. There's no reason to believe in all of these crazy things that seek to strip you of your masculinity, perpetuate these terrible ideas that men are evil and all of these things. That has to be the reason.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Women have it easier than they think they do.
With feminism, it's kind of brainwashed women to think that they are victims in 99% of cases, and all the disenfranchisement that they would claim in like colleges and careers. A lot of these careers are way easier to get into for women than they are for men because they're looking to hire women because of feminism.
Yeah, like in divorce and stuff, they get more property, the kids' rights, all that.
Yeah.
But more so, I think that from the
In terms of family law, women are very much advantaged.
jump actually have it easier. Like men need to be a provider, you're taught to be tough. Oh, why are you crying? Don't be a girl. But when a girl is crying or a girl is upset or anything that happens, usually there's like they're a princess and they're given the world.
Well, yeah, because with women, they're born with their value. They innately have value. They can create life and they're extremely valuable from birth. For men, it's not really the same way. You have to make something of yourself to be respected.
Exactly. Like a pretty woman can go far just using her face. A man can't do that. A man can't go to a rich businessman or like a businesswoman and be like, I'm good looking, let me come to your yacht.
Right.
A woman can.
Right.
Let's bring the disagreeers forward.
There still is an aspect of being one of the lucky few in that, though, and I think that's important to note.
A quick question. Just a second ago, you were saying that a pretty woman could go onto a rich man's yacht, and that would be kind of her ticket on, right? Okay, so did that help women vote at all, being pretty?
But what does that have to do with
I'm just asking, because I mean, when we're talking about women's lives being better than they think they are, would you rather be pretty and be able to get on a yacht or have your liberties?
What are we living in, like 1950s or 2022?
Yeah,
They already have the right to vote.
for a long time.
I think something you specifically said shows to me why women don't have it easier. I think it was you who said, women already have their value. Their value is already obvious because they can have children. I don't want to put you in a box, but there are large amounts of men. Women are people that have children and then they raise the child and they be quiet.
And I think
that is a problem.
I think what was really evident to me when both of y'all came up and talked was how indoctrinated into the patriarchy you are, right? You both come up and say, as men, we have to prove something. And those expectations that you put on yourself is a direct result of patriarchy and the systems that feminism is trying to
even if, okay, so this is called, do women have it easier? This specific question is, do women have it easier? Even if it is a result of feminism or a result of the patriarchy, you can still talk about this, right? I firmly believe that if the patriarchy goes far enough, it turns into a matriarchy, right? In the way that our current society especially is leaning. I think that if it goes far enough, it turns into a matriarchy. So at some point, you have to be able to talk about the patriarchy causing women to have better chances, at least in specific areas. They have to be able to admit that at least in these specific areas, women do have it easier, I guess you could say.
So as are the values that women have that when they were born that you're talking about. Women did not create those.
Right.
Men did.
Those are God ordained. Men and women are both equal under God and in value as human beings. In Genesis, you have a creation of both men and women. They're made in God's
We're
image.
not about
we
to
are
quote the
both-
Bible and like some feminist.
Hold on, but so,
I mean, we can.
We're operating in a country where there's a separation of church and state. You cannot use religion as a motivation to make legislation. If I hear one more person use religion as a reason to not give rights to people, I'm probably gonna fucking explode. People using their own personal ideologies as an excuse to implement legislation over other people's lives are simply just not okay with the fact that they can't control everything around them.
Back to the prompt, I mean, I don't think that women have it easier than they think they do. And I think to just make blanket statements like women in society think they have it easy or men in society have it harder, or whatever you want to say, I just think it's kind of naive. Sure, maybe some women think they have it easier, but that might not be because they're a woman. It might just be because of their own set of life challenges and vice versa.
Yeah, and I agree. And one of the reasons that I am so passionately anti-feminist is because I believe that feminism pits men against women. Men and women may be equal today, but they are not the same. But also, too, women are
Guys, that was a real bad start, not gonna lie. Like a very bad start to this game.
under a pressing assault today in this country. They're losing their ability to compete in sports, beauty pageants, also just basic things like that to people that identify as women. And no one is talking about it. Feminists aren't talking about it. So now you have conservatives having to fight for women's equality.
You're making some pretty blanket statements saying feminists don't care about it. And you say, you think that all women just are against men.
To answer your question, yeah, you're talking about women. Women are not all feminists. There are plenty of feminists who are very anti-woman.
Especially not third wave feminism. I'd say that most women probably are feminists in some sense, but third wave feminism is different from other feminism.
Woman, you know, you saw it during in the political era where you have people who will attack Kayleigh McEnany and Kellyanne Conway because they aren't pro-women. They're not for the girls.
So you
actually, we have like just a little bit left. I haven't heard Kevin yet.
Most feminism is not feminism. Most third wave feminism is not feminism. I would agree with you there. Also, Racer, because you're new here, where are you from and what are your general political views? But welcome in, buddy.
Yeah, when you talked about the pressures of being a man and having to provide and having to prove your value as a man, I think those are real challenges that men face. That's why
all
like,
feminism?
women have it hard
What about like feminism towards voting rights? What about that? Was that not towards equality?
too, because they are also being impacted by how aggressive men feel like they need to be able to secure the role that they have to play in society. But the reality of today is that because of the systems that we're in, the patriarchy is negatively impacting not only women, but also men.
There's no wrong reason.
Look at the core ideas of original feminism. What did original feminism actually fight for? It fought for the right to vote. It fought for no contest divorce. It fought for the right to own property, the right to not be property, things like this, which are quite literally equality measures. They didn't care about equality. Then why didn't they push for anything other than equality? There's a difference between the first wave feminists and the third wave feminists. The first wave feminists didn't push really for anything other than voting rights and such. Third wave feminism is the one that's different. How about this? How about this, buddy? You send me something to read and we can read it real quick. Preferably something short, but we can read part of something long and we will determine whether or not you are right here. So send me something written by a first wave feminist and we can look at it. A popular first wave feminist. I don't want fringe people. I want popular first wave feminists.
To get an abortion.
So I'll just center the conversation around the very fact that, you know, we're a group of 8 men. The optics of 8 men in a room talking about when women do and don't deserve to get an abortion it's a bad look. So for me, from a personal standpoint, you know, I have a girlfriend. There might be some reasons on a personal level, where her and I having that conversation together, I might say, oh, I think we should do this, I think we should do that. On a legislative level, I don't feel confident enough to legislate when someone is and isn't allowed to get health care. Because that's what abortion is, it's health care.
Yeah. One of the paramount ideologies of, I guess, being a quote-unquote male feminist is just the ability to mind your own business. Just to be able to say that this is the wrong reason to have an abortion, you're already headed down the wrong path.
So being an anti-feminist, I look at this and I say, well, I am more religious as well.
As am I.
So I want to say like I'm more like pro-life, right? But if a woman decides that they want to not give birth, it doesn't matter the reason. You know, maybe she's not wealthy enough. Maybe the father left her. There's so many reasons. And then I also look at like just gun violence and how we're like birthing kids and we raise them and send it to school knowing that it can get killed. I don't know. I would feel like
it's like not a safe. It's not the best world to be raising a child in.
Exactly.
I think a patriarchal element, even in your answer, not to combat or what have you. The idea of trying to cycle through the reasons why and going, yeah, I guess those make sense, is still, in my opinion, patriarchal.
I mean, you can call it patriarchal, but again, I think that the women has the final say, and at the same time, there is something to be said about the fact that child was made by the combination of the man and the woman involved, right? And I don't think that just because the woman is the mother, that gives them full control over the child, because it is a child, especially once it reaches viability, which is a pretty generally accepted time is viability. But even before that, I think that there should be a way for men to have an abortion, right? So in such ways as like signing off your rights to the child before the child is born. With the same limits as abortion. So like if I wanted up to 24 weeks abortion, that's about viability, then it would be up to 24 weeks you can sign off your parental rights as a man. But absolutely no one is pushing for that shit, and it is disgusting in my opinion. Patriarchy is a sexist concept which is again designed to make men the enemy or vermin that must be eradicated. Even calling things patriarchal is like calling things Jewish in the Nazi sense. So, okay. We're going to take a quick pause here. I am not one to take comparing things to Nazis and other mass murderers very lightly. So this is your warning. Don't compare those two things. All right? Unless you're comparing a genocide to a genocide, do not compare it to Nazis. Don't be a fucking idiot. All right? We're not going to take that lightly. That was about 11 million people killed in World War II Holocaust. World War II by Nazis. Let's say that. 11 million people killed in World War II by Nazis. We're not going to just randomly compare women's suffrage to that. That is absolutely disgusting. Okay? Cool. Men have faced oppression specifically due to feminist efforts. So what specifically due to first wave feminist efforts? Because that's what you're saying. That's where we're disagreeing. What specifically due to first wave feminism have men faced oppression for? And you also still have yet to cite a source for me, which is absolutely crazy, bro. You're talking out of your ass. So again, give me a specific as to what in first wave feminism leads to male oppression.
Even though I was on the feminist side on that topic, it feels like I was put in a position where I was framed as wrong. It felt like you aren't allowed to have this opinion on this topic because you're not a woman. And I think that's kind of bullshit, to be honest.
Off the top of my head, I know that was mentioned earlier that abortion is healthcare, and I first want to push back on that. Abortion is not healthcare. Healthcare preserves life and protects.
Racer, let me give you a scenario. Let's say that you are a citizen of the United States, and there is a group of people saying that you cannot vote. Would you see them as an enemy as well? Them saying you as a citizen of the United States, no, you don't get to vote. I feel like that would make me see them as an enemy as well. But again, you have yet to cite your sources.
That's it.
It doesn't take
That I
away,
have
it doesn't
asked for.
eliminate
What about the woman's life?
But when you exterminate a child, that is doing
Oh,
harm.
but it's
That
not
is
always a
healthcare.
child, right? So
That is-
it's a discussion when it becomes a child or not. That's not a gray area. That's not a
It
line.
is actually scientifically proven. It is a separate
Through
strain of
science
DNA
or law?
at conception. If you ask any doctor,
But if you took that clump of cells out, would it survive?
Again, so what you're talking about is second and third wave feminism. I'm asking about first wave feminism. I already said that. That's what we disagree on, is first wave feminism, kind of second wave. We both agree that third wave feminism is horrible. All right? I'm talking about first wave feminism because that's what you're saying is shitty, and you are wrong. So I want you to cite your sources so we can examine why.
it's not a
Well, we
clump of
are all
cells.
a
That's why you
clump of
call it a
cells.
termination. Scientifically, it is a life at birth, and scientifically,
birth.
it is
Did
sorry,
you
at
just hear?
conception. At conception,
It is a life, but it is not a human.
So look, though, the thing is, so when you say it's about protecting life, abortions are protecting lives of thousands of women who maybe are not able to
At
have.
the expense of another life.
But
Racer, what you're saying actually existed before feminism. What you're saying actually existed because of men. Okay, I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it doesn't need to be addressed, but it's not because of feminism. What you're saying actually stems from the fact that men did not see women as people in early America. So what they did is they said that any crime that a woman committed is actually the crime of her husband, and her husband should be punished for said crime. And as that evolved and started to go away, we had this idea that women cannot commit crime because for almost all of American history, other than fucking witchcraft, for the most part, women could not commit crime. It just didn't exist for women. And that leads to the current situation where women are still always assumed, or more of the time assumed, to be not guilty because of this idea that men created that women cannot commit crimes. All right? What you're talking about is not feminism. Learn your history. What is a man but a miserable pile of Twitch donations? What? What? That's not why women are protected, LOL. I am telling you history. I'm telling you the history of American law. All right? I'm telling you the history of why, in America specifically, women are treated as innocent more often than they are treated as guilty, even in the eyes of the public. Sorry, Ray. My bad. Women are protected by other women who howl anytime a woman is attacked, whether by a man illegally or by the institutions or systems via the courts entirely legally. Women don't really howl that much when a woman is convicted of a crime that she committed. Buddy, that's just not a big thing. And again, this disparity in women being convicted for crimes versus men being convicted for crimes existed long before feminism had any form of an impact on society. So you cannot attribute that to feminism. So, as I say again, how was first wave feminism influencing male oppression? Because it simply did not. First wave feminism was the purest form of feminism, and it was the best form of feminism. All right? And if you think that it had some actual negative impact that can be tied back to first wave feminism and not some shit happening before, tell me and we will look into it. But your first example that you have given so far is absolutely incorrect. Learn your history. Lessen penalties for women in all manner of transgressions while raise them for men. So the law is actually literally the same for men and women. Okay, what you're talking about is social acceptance, which again goes back to the idea that men created that women cannot commit crimes. I don't have to attribute it to feminism. Traditionalism was anti-male, not pro-male. It just adds to my argument that traditional society coddled women. We replaced traditional society with feminist society, which is happy to keep their old privileges going. Do you think that like old traditional, like let's say like 100 years ago traditional, over 100, let's say Reconstruction era. So let's say like the end of the 1800s, early 1900s. Okay. Do you think that those women were privileged in society? Do you really think that? Are you really that idiotic? Right, I would consider what we have right now kind of third wave still. They haven't like switched themselves away from third wave, so we're gonna keep calling them third wave. You realize that everybody was Christian back then and that they were half lesbians who hated men with a passion, who wrote tons of books about how men were vermin and created wars, etc. I mean, men started all wars. There is like one war in human history that men haven't started, and that was actually started because men were fighting over a woman. And that was in one of the Asian countries. I don't know, kind of southeastern Asia. Anyways, maybe one of the islands. Anyways, that's not actually that relevant. But anyways, so men did start wars. Again, if you had a group of people in society telling you as an American citizen that you cannot vote, I think that you would think that that group was evil as well. I think if that group was telling you that you cannot leave your abusive husband, if you have not reported his abuse, I think you would call him evil. I think that if you had a group in society that was telling you you could not own property, you would probably call them evil. If they told you you could not have certain jobs, you would probably call them evil. Let's put ourselves into context for a second of old-time context of what was actually going on in the world. People who happen to be men started wars, rulers started wars. Why are you being selective about your characteristics? Fuck, my eye is like burning. It's like if I said white people started the most wars because statistically they have, them being white isn't important. White people have started the most wars. That's true. That doesn't make me mad. It shouldn't make you mad that men have started all wars. It is just a fact. If it makes you mad when someone states a fact, that is on you. That makes you sound like a lefty, which I know you won't like being called. It should make you mad because it's bad framing. You're picking an irrelevant characteristic. Again, it is not saying that it's because they're men. It is also not saying that it's because they're white. It is just saying a statistic, right? It is the same thing, okay? And lefties, y'all can leave right now because I know y'all like to call me anti-Semitic when I point this out, but that's just simply not what it is. It's the same thing as saying there is a disproportionate representation of Jewish people in media. Okay, that does not mean anything bad. That is just a fact, right? What is bad is when you start attributing that to, say, you know, all Jewish people want to control the world, shit like that. That's when it gets bad and not factual. Just saying the fact doesn't matter as long as you're not attributing something to that fact, right? Saying men start all wars doesn't mean that all men start all wars. That's not what that means, you fucking idiot. And again, I would like to come back to the fact that you have yet to say something from first wave feminism, which I've asked you multiple times to bring me back to. You have yet to say something from first wave feminism that creates oppression in men, which is what your claim was earlier. Okay, you have yet to back that up in any verifiable way. So please do that before we move on. We're leaving this screen because we will not be moving on without an answer from this. They push for higher moral standards in society because they're half lesbians with too much free time. Who are we talking? Which group of feminists are we talking about specifically there? None of them had jobs, and all they could do was whine and whinge. I mean, for a while, women weren't allowed to have jobs. That gives them a disadvantage in the job market, right when the job market allows women. I'm just saying. You were talking about who first wave feminists were, so I answered. I didn't say anything in this convo. And first wave suffragette movements and what the motivation stood for. You were talking about the people behind the movement. Again, you have yet to cite any sources, and you have yet to say anything that is actually a result of first wave feminism that is male oppression, which you have claimed already. So please, again, say something that is verifiable. Please. Oh, and also, women should not have jobs, and I can 100% argue this and prove it to you. Okay, argue it. Let's go. Why should women not have jobs? Because I can almost guarantee you, actually not even almost, I can guarantee you that you are wrong. Oh, he's that retarded? Why do I? Yeah, exactly right. I bother because it's entertainment, but yeah, he's that retarded. I claim feminism in general has specifically oppressed men. Yeah, and we disagreed. I specifically stated that we disagreed on first wave feminism and that I can agree with you on third wave, and you continued to harp your point and said that I was wrong, which means that you are insinuating that first wave feminism caused oppression. Boom. Gotcha, buddy. I didn't know you talked to someone that retarded. It's Twitch, bro. I talk to like the most retarded of retarded people on here every fucking day. Come on. Lower your standards, Rye. Also, I have this fun thing. I absolutely love it. Just watch it for a second. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Anyways, women should never have jobs, or at least a significant number of them should not pursue careers for two reasons. One, it dilutes wages to levels where now both parents do have to work instead of one when only men had jobs. Wage structures were balanced to make it to where men could earn enough money to pay for themselves and their wives, obviously. I would get on board with you if a minimum wage was like even close to livable, but it's not. So again, also you saying they shouldn't insinuates that they shouldn't be allowed to. I don't know if that's actually what you mean, so I'm gonna wait for you to answer this. Do you think they should be allowed to, and just that they morally shouldn't, or do you think they should not be allowed to? Because if it is that they should not be allowed to, you have absolutely no standing here. If you think that it's a morally shouldn't, we can talk. He said women shouldn't have jobs. What the fuck? The 1600s, even the 1600s, women had to have jobs. Yeah, women have always worked. A lot of women have worked without pay, but women have always worked. It's not livable because of why I said no. But here's the thing: two people living on a minimum wage is still very difficult in a way that a minimum wage 100 years ago would not have been difficult with one person living on it. That's what I mean. That's what I mean, is that the economy today cannot sustain any two people in a house together or in an apartment together living on minimum wage. That's very much not sustainable today in many senses. So that would insinuate that you would need more than two people's income, which would mean that it's less than half of what it used to be, which means your argument is incorrect. Anyways, he's just afraid someone with a vagina can do a better job. That's facts. Do you think that that's not working? That's what I'm talking about when I said a lot of their work hasn't been paid. That's working. Also, sex work has always been popular. Sex work has always been very popular. Do you know how many seamstresses exist? We can actually look something up here because I think it'll be an interesting little side note. How many seamstresses were there in Seattle? In Seattle's early days, there were roughly 2,700 women calling themselves seamstresses. Now, if you're unaware, this means that they were sex workers. That's work. They were getting paid for that work. Sex work was extremely fucking popular. You're afraid that me with my giant dick will come in and fuck up your tiny female brain in the workplace, which I will anyways, so why be scared of it? Racer, you're fucking retarded, bro. You are absolutely retarded. He wants women to do jobs, just not be paid. Yeah, exactly. How did he crawl out of his mom's womb and not get lost? I don't know, bro. Those are the women who had jobs. It wasn't just job givers discriminating against women. It was the fact that women had to be pregnant. Good luck with having a full-time job when you're pregnant. Yeah, it's called maternity leave, my friend. Take a couple months off, bro, to have your baby and then go back to work. You can go back to work after that. Are you fucking idiot? Give me a non-ad hom. Oh, I have given you actual points surrounded by ad homs. Don't worry. Don't worry. There are actual points in here. If you haven't heard them, it's because you haven't been listening. Because you're an idiot. There you go. There's another ad hom for you. women do jobs and get paid like any human being. Maternity leave lasts for 7 months minimum, plus you need to stay at home to take care of the infant. There's plenty of solutions around that. There's plenty of decent men in this world that will also split time off so that they can spend time with their infant, because that's also very influential in a child's development, is having a relationship with the father from birth, because whatever group of people that an infant has a relationship with is a group of people that they're most likely to have a stronger tie with. So having a father take some form of paternity leave is also very important for a child's development, just so you know. But at the end of the day, women need 7 months minimum. I don't think is accurate. I think probably like 3 months ish, probably minimum, is closer. But either way, you can take time off of your job and then you can go back to work. Maybe not full time, right? If you don't want to hire someone to take care of your child, maybe not full time, but you can still go back to work. You can still have a job while you have kids. You can have jobs as a woman. None of these are mutually exclusive, bro. Well, maternity leave for 5 years. Very few people go on maternity leave for 5 years. Some people do end up just not going back to work after they have a baby. That is true. But that is not the majority of mothers. Who is going to clean the diapers until the kid knows how to walk and talk? LOL. Well, first of all, usually, I don't know about you. This is just personal experience, but all the babies I've known have been potty trained before they can talk. And also, like, before they can formulate sentences. And also, there are things called babysitters and other family members. There's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child for a reason. What is this maternity leave deflection? I'm not deflecting anything. I'm just explaining to you the reality of the situation that you obviously do not understand. Parental leave is important for the development of a child. Exactly. Paternity leave is one, a modern invention, and two, only for office jobs. And three, who will take care of the baby while you're at work. So again, I will repeat myself. Maternity leave is a modern invention because more women now than in history are working. Okay, no one is disputing that. More women now than in history have jobs. Actually, I will correct. And manual labor jobs, you can't really be pregnant after 2 months. Yeah, the majority of people in manual labor jobs are men, so that's not really a very relevant point. That's kind of what we call a straw man. And three, who will take care of the baby while you're at work? So there is other family members, such as grandparents of the child. There is the father, and there are babysitters. There are a lot of options for childcare that exist in this world. And it's very obvious that you're not a parent because you don't know these, okay? And you haven't really probably been around any parents with that had babies while you were around, because you would understand the fact that it quite literally takes a village for most parents. Yeah, why are you generalizing my points and falling back to a wider statement about all modernity? Because that's what you said. You are talking about all of modernity. You don't want to admit it, but that's actually what you are insinuating with a lot of things you're saying. During the formative years of an infant is important. It develops an intimate bond with the parents for its own development. The parents, great. So, for example, what could happen is a mother works days and a father works nights, or the other way around, and then they can still have meaningful relationships with that child. That's crazy. That's crazy. Women should not be in work. Yeah, I know that that's your argument, but your argument is simply not backed up by anything realistic. Also, I think I'm very behind in chat, but I'm just scrolling because you guys are idiots. Please choose not to reproduce and stay at home. Yeah, I'd have to Oh, you're physically and psychologically stronger than a woman. There's absolutely no evidence that you are psychologically stronger than a woman, especially someone who's talking like you are. You might be psychologically weaker than most women. Just saying. And probably psychologically stupider than most women, considering IQ has very little correlation with gender. You're scared of women working? Yeah, you are. That's being a pussy? Yeah. Also, I never had any meaningful relationship with my parents. I had meaningful relationships with my Xbox and my Coca-Cola. Fucking people think children are fragile wallflowers. And look how you turned out, bro. I don't know what time it is for you. It's midnight for me. You are yelling to someone that you just walked into a stream of on the internet at whatever fucking time it is, talking about how women shouldn't have jobs. Okay? We're not the same. One of us is a decent person. One of us, again, has to get all of their anger out on the internet because their mommy and daddy were never around. People used to have families with 10 kids because it was economically advantageous at the time. Happens in every developing country, and it happens in every modernized country. There is always a slowdown of children. Testosterone is correlated with aggression, higher self-esteem, higher pain tolerance, higher stress resilience. So aggression shows mental weakness. Pain tolerance has nothing to do with psychology. Stress resilience, cite your source. And what specifically type of stress are we talking about? And self-esteem, yeah, that is accurate. Congratulations, you got 1 point. Alex, good point. I am fucking rich. Yes, I do this for fun. I own idiots online. You're owning no one. You being rich has no relevance to this conversation. Pain tolerance is individual. Also that. There's no actual way to measure pain tolerance. Just saying. The aggression shows mental weakness. Let me bully you and force you to cry. See how weak I am then. See, here's the thing. Anger, which it seems like you're showing, is actually a secondary emotion to other emotions. So what you're doing is you're bottling up your other emotions and spewing it out in anger. And what I want you to be able to wrap your head around, but I really don't think you have the IQ to be able to do it, is that actually is a sign of mental weakness and emotional unintelligence. Okay? Mental strength comes from emotional intelligence, which you very clearly have absolutely none of. He's making himself look stupid, that's facts. Like, bro, I'm sorry. My god, how fucking sad is it that you feel superior to those who push 10-pound children out of their fucking gooch and shove a bowling pin up your ass and tell me it was easy? Yeah, exactly. Anger is literally a secondary emotion, bro. Here we go. Studies have identified anger as being a secondary emotion. A secondary emotion is an emotion fueled by other emotions. For example, if you become hurt in some way, you might express a negative emotion instead of emotional and physical pain. It might be easier to express anger than express hurt. Or if your mommy and daddy didn't love you enough and that hurts your feelings, right? And you don't know how to deal with that, it might be easier for you to just express anger rather than actually dealing with your problems. Sounds like you're saying a bunch of scared soy gobbledygook. What I'm actually saying is that emotional awareness and emotional intelligence leads you to be a better human and actually leads you to have a lower chance of suicide. It's a big problem for men. So I'm actually doing you a service if you choose to listen. If you don't choose to listen, I can't control what you do. But I'm just saying that exactly what I'm telling you leads to lower suicide rates for men and better overall outcomes in life. Stop being an incel and be a chat like me. My secondary emotion is pity, I guess. Proof of stupid facts, bro. My entire value as gender is decided by 5 hours of me being in pain. That's not what she said. She was actually relating that back to your pain tolerance thing. You can also look at like the millions of videos of men taking like period pain simulators and like keeling over and crying over it, when women deal with that once a month. Pretty much every woman. Like, that is just another example of pain tolerance doing its thing. I'm actually doing you a massive favor by calling you a massive pussy bitch. When you decide to get some bitches, I will teach you, but not until then. I can't help you until you admit that you are a pussy bitch. Sounds like this guy has a kink. You guys think that this guy has a kink? I feel like he's trying to like do a little kink play, but he forgets that the key to kink is consent. Unlikely since he's gay. I am in fact bisexual. Alex is in fact my girlfriend. Alex, do we have a picture of us in Discord? Well, actually, I don't really want to show this guy my face now, or your face. But yeah, Alex is in fact my girlfriend. I got a ring to prove it. Does that help you? Okay, we got a promise ring. We live together when I'm not at college. If you had come in here probably, what is it, like 2 weeks ago, I would have called her down and you could have seen her on stream yourself, but I'm at college right now. Also, your apologia for women is literally 5 hours of pain equals my only value. No, again, what she said is that 5 hours of pain is something that men could never stand, and you are the one that stated that men have a higher pain tolerance, which is 1, unmeasurable, and 2, the only thing you could do is relation, and for example, period pains and pregnancy is something that men usually can't handle. Girlfriend ring? Jesus, dude, you're so pussy ripped. That's me. That's me. Getting married in current environment would fuck you if you get divorced. Well, good thing we don't plan on getting divorced, and also good thing I'm on the path to becoming a fucking attorney, and I will in fact be drafting a prenup, and so will she. Like, the fuck? Do you have period pains, bleed out your asshole, and spend $15 per month sopping up butt? It's a good question. What do you have to say, Racer? No, what she was saying is that women are special because they go through 5 hours of pain, which is not voluntary. It's something they have to do, and it's not exactly like it's an accomplishment, like inventing a new scientific idea or something. Well, first of all, I mean, you could call it an accomplishment considering there's a lot of women who don't even survive childbirth. And second of all, that's again not what she's saying. I have said it like 4 times now or something. And in fact, she's my girlfriend, so I think I know a little bit more than you what she is actually trying to say here. She's talking about pain tolerance. She's not talking about value as a person. You fucking idiot. Is your only value as a person, does that come from your dick? Because that's, I could characterize what you have said as that. It would be a vast mischaracterization, but I could say that. And it would be the same thing that you are doing. If you get headaches from hair parting, maybe that's not a compliment. That's a self. Oh my god, you're a fucking idiot. Of course he works on an oil rig, bro. Literally, of course he works on an oil rig. There's no other place that this dude would work other than a fucking oil rig. You know blue-collar jobs have one of the highest rates of domestic violence? Did you know that? Did anyone know that? An enormous bank account, financial security, and a giant house. Yeah, that doesn't matter when you treat your wife like shit. I hate to break it to you, but almost no women would be happy spending their life with someone like you. Racer, I hate to break it to you. There is more to life, and there is more to making women happy than your fucking bank account. They are, in fact, human beings, and they do, in fact, require more than just your money. There are actually a growing number of women that don't give a fuck how much money you are. There's actually a growing number of women who are perfectly fine if you're a stay-at-home dad and such. So, just saying, I'm trying to help you. I think that your view on women is a little bit misguided. I think that you're experiencing a lot of secondary emotions because you have an inability to deal with your primary emotions. And I really think you should go like talk to a therapist about that because I think it would really help you advance in life. OMG, Uwu, make me your sugar baby with your huge mansion. I can stay in the dungeon and have your babies for free, I promise. Do you know why they all want to spend their life with somebody like me? They can afford to do things that they all want to do but can't. They don't have to work, which means they get to have They get to have holidays permanently, and I'm not bad looking, and I'm in good physical shape. Great. So again, being attractive and being rich is not everything. Yes, for some surface level bitches, it will be. But again, those aren't going to be people that you have actually good relationships with, so that still doesn't matter. Okay? And two, you forget the fact that some women, a lot of women actually want to work. Some don't. I'm not saying that all women want to work. Just like all men don't want to work. Or not all men want to work. But again, what you're forgetting is that there are plenty of women in this world that actually want to work. They have career aspirations, things that they would like to accomplish. And someone like you is absolutely repulsive to them. It has to be a troll. It absolutely has to be a troll. Alex, I'm just running with this because there's no chance it's not a troll, bro. You offer 2 times more than most men do. Do you offer any form of emotional intelligence for them to talk about a hard day? For them to relate to you on any emotional level? Because considering you very obviously are someone who has no ability to talk about your own emotions and to initiate connections on a deeper level than just surface level, I would actually assume that men, or that women, fucking hate talking to you. Kind of like Andrew Tate, yeah. It's Andrew. It's Andrew's little bitch boy. Why do you think Andrew Tate got so popular? Because fucking damn near every woman on the planet hated him. And people hate watch him. Also, are you defending Andrew Tate, who is literally arrested right now for human trafficking? Are you defending that man? I mean, it fits with the profile, but are you actually defending him? They don't need to talk to me. Yeah, that's where you're getting it wrong, right? Because we're talking about a woman who wants to spend the rest of their life with you. They would want to talk to you. They want to have a relationship. Okay? So, you're just wrong there. Bro, this YouTube content, so I know. I'm so excited. This guy is just giving me content fucking gold. We're doing a highlight video of this. They don't care about my personality. I could have the personality of a bridge troll and it still wouldn't matter. Racer, do you have a girlfriend? Or a wife? Do you have either of those things? Just wondering. My ability to put a woman in permanent holiday land is 10 times more than what most other men in their life has offered to them. Again, you're fundamentally misunderstanding what a relationship is, and I think you do listen to a little bit too much Andrew Tate. That sounds like murder, bro. It kind of does sound like murder. You have over 100 plus girlfriends, so you have no girlfriends. Okay, you might have hookups, you might have fuck buddies. You have no girlfriends because you have no actual relationship. Okay, actual intimate relationship with these people. That is what a girlfriend is. Now, if you would like to have an intimate relationship with someone, which you should, all right? Actually, health outcomes in the long term are better for men who end up getting married, and I think also having kids. But this is actually very beneficial to your own health, to your own mental well-being, to your suicide possibility. So this is actually a very good thing to be talking about. And if you would like some help with that, I can certainly be here and I can talk to you and I can help you with that. However, what you're saying right now is only going to lead you astray. Why does that sound like I only have one pussy to fuck? Because that's what it means. Because guess what? When there is an actual connection between you and another human being, first of all, the sex is better. I hate to break it to you. I don't know if you've ever actually talked to anyone who knows a thing or two about sex, but the sex is actually better when you intimately know a person and when you've had sex with them multiple times, and when you can talk about that sex, talk about how it was, talk about what you would like to try, things like that. It actually makes the sex better. And also, again, there's the whole relationship aspect that you seem to be missing that actually brings people, a healthy relationship brings people a lot of happiness, which obviously you seem to be lacking in your own life. I don't think he can block me from seeing it. Account created December 26th, 2022. No offense, beta. Okay, I already. No offense, beta, but intimate relationship sounds like some bitch shit. Sure. Sex is better with intimate relationships. No, it's not. Firstly, lots of women stop fucking and stop trying to look good once they're settled in. So first of all, their looks don't really matter. Again, that comes with the intimate relationship thing. And second of all, yes, some relationships, sex stops. However, in a lot of healthy relationships, that is not how it works. That is just simply not what it is. And also, once you get into an intimate relationship, you will soon learn that sex is not the end-all be-all of life. And there's in fact things that can bring you more happiness than sex. Sex, when you come, it is actually just a dopamine and endorphins rush to your brain. It's similar to getting high, okay? But what you soon learn when you're actually in a relationship is that high can come from so many other things than sex, okay? And you don't actually need sex. I think that sex is good in a relationship, obviously. But you don't actually need sex in order to be happy, which I think what you're doing, considering you've already told me a little bit of your trauma, I think what you're actually doing is you're using that dopamine rush from when you come to make up for the sadness you feel on a day-to-day basis. And that's just really disappointing. I really think you should go and talk to someone. We have half and half long distance. When I'm at college, we're long distance, yeah. Beatles boy, welcome to chat. Because you're new here, where are you from? What are your general political views? I don't really know what I got into, but I'm really enjoying it, not gonna lie. I really like the trolls because they're fucking idiots. Sex is not the end-all be-all of life. Sex is the end-all be-all of life for a female in the male perspective. So, do you think that a woman just exists for you to have sex with, sir? That's a yes or no question, actually. Yes or no? Do you believe that women only exist for you to have sex with? You just got here. Racer is a raging misogynist, and this started off with him hating feminism, and then we got to him saying that women shouldn't be able to work, and then we got to whatever the fuck is happening right now. I don't really know how we got here from there. I mean, having sex is the breakfast of champions, or whatever people say. Yeah, morning sex is great, but again, it's not the end-all be-all of a relationship. I love that I destroy every single stereotype this man presents. I know. Alex, it's amazing. A woman can exist for many reasons, but all I'm looking for in a relationship is to tap those cheeks and move on with my life. So that's not a relationship, again. As we've talked about, you shouldn't really be calling that a relationship because it is not a relationship. If anything, it is a toxic relationship, if it's going to be a relationship at all. I don't need a woman to fulfill me. My job and my ventures and my empire building fulfills me. Yeah, so you're falling into this trap. This trap that a lot of like the alpha males try to push that actually, again, lowers your life expectancy and increases your suicide rate. Because of the fact, like things such as having a happy, healthy marriage will lower your suicide rate, increase your life expectancy. The assumed stress from running a business, a lot of business owners and CEOs are very stressed. That also lowers their lifespan. All of the things you're saying are just lowering your own lifespan, and also increasing, like statistically increasing your suicide risk. Just saying. Wow, never got such a greeting. Don't really got a political view, but socially, my stuff's nailed down. It leans towards the left, and I'm from Arizona. Solid. Welcome in, buddy. Not meant to be offensive. Do you have autism? Schizoaffective? ASPD? I already said he has autism, and he didn't deny it. I am pretty sure, like, not even in an offensive way. I'm pretty sure he has autism, considering one of his first chats in here was him asking what my experience with dick was. So, like, just by that alone, I would assume that he doesn't know how, like, social situations work and such, and also his viewpoints kind of insinuate that too. You're actually falling into this beta trap where you think that you need to treat a woman as your equal and replace your deeds with your interpersonal connections. So I'm in college right now. I'll fully admit that I'm in college right now. I'm not like rich right now, but I am going into one of the highest paying fields. That's not at all what this is about. Basically, you're trying to live as a prisoner because you have been soyed out of your ears. I don't care about people. I care about actions, objects, and deeds. You care about people. Who's the bitch in this equation? Caring about people does not make you a bitch. If it makes you a bitch, then yeah, I'm glad to be a bitch. But it just simply does not. Caring about people makes you a decent and functioning member of society. That is actually somewhat pleasant to be around. As obviously you, sir, are not. A touch of the tism. Yeah. Who's settling for less in this equation? I am settling for nothing, bro. I got fucking 100 out of 10. Shut the fuck up. So then shut the fuck up. Don't get married and wait until you start earning cash, idiot. I mean, I won't get married until I start making money because I want to be able to pay for my own wedding and have a nice wedding. But that's the reason the ring is already there. Just because we're waiting until I can afford the actual wedding. I mean, so you're like halfway, right? You're close. Women are humans like you, not dog. Common mistake. Is it really a common mistake? I feel like it's a less and less common mistake as time passes. Fucking dumbass child over here trying to normalize and justify his existence when he hasn't even made any real money yet. I mean, I do make more money than most of my friends. I hate to break it to you. You're also paying my bills right now because I know you've gotten an ad already. You're helping to pay my bills, just so you know. God, I wish I actually knew the intro song, Alex. But that is very accurate. Again, if you get divorced in the current environment, you'll get fucked in the divorce. That's why I'm getting a prenup. And me and my girlfriend have both agreed to the prenup. That's called conversation. You can like talk with the person that you're in a relationship with and figure out these things, rather than just acting like it's pure animosity out in the world. And acting like women are dogs. Nothing wrong with your one girlfriend, but maybe you can add others to the one. Yeah, some people like that. Some people are into polyamory. If you're into it, that's cool. Go for it. It's not what I'm into. So no. That is in fact a kink. So I mean, it's good that you're expressing your kinks. That's something that not a lot of men can do. But you being into actually, I don't know if it's a kink. But you being able to express that's really good for you. I'm not acting out of pure animosity. I love all my partners, especially if they're good people. So love insinuates that you treat them like people rather than like dogs. And everything you have said so far means that leads me to say that you treat them like dogs. You know what my dog doesn't do? My dog gets vacation 24/7. My dog doesn't have to work. My dog gets whatever she wants. My dog also like can't really do anything without me because she relies on me so heavily that if she ever wanted to leave, she couldn't. Crazy. My chats are behind lagging going on data right now, just so y'all know. I'm sorry, Beastie. There's a lot going on in chat. I wish I could fix that for you. Look, let me give you an example. You like your dog, right? Imagine you have a dog. You might care for this dog enormously, but you have a life outside of this dog, right? You have a career, you have ambitions, you have hobbies, interests, you have plans that you do. You talk to your friends about interesting or complicated subjects. Yes. Are you actually going to fall into the trap of relating women to the dog in this scenario? Are you actually going to do that? Women should be like dogs. He fucking said it. You should love them, but they should not occupy every place in your life. That's completely messed up. A lot of women aren't even as good as dogs, by the way. Guys, I think that this is the most misogynistic person I have ever had on the stream. Yeah, I'm gonna side with Alex. You get one more chance, but also you're making really good content for me. Thank you for the content, buddy. Falls into the trap of being correct. Oh no, buddy. Why do you? Okay, I have an actual question for you. Let's tie this back to some real life shit. Okay, because you're living in fucking fairy tale land. Why do you think that women graduate college more than men? Why do you think that is? Also, the most successful male you had on stream, most likely? Probably not, because I've had a professional soccer player on stream. So. Almost like men stop lying to themselves and adopting all these fake viewpoints they don't really believe in once they get the freedom to do so. Buddy, I've had the freedom before. The freedom sucks. I'd prefer to have a partner in life. It's okay if you don't want to. It's generally better for you, worse for your well-being in the long run, but I've had it before. Almost like bro, watching too much Andrew Tate. I know, right? He straight up is just spewing the nonsense of a man who has been arrested for human trafficking. I want to restate that so everyone is aware that this man is spewing the nonsense and has already defended the person in Romania who has been arrested of human trafficking. What freedom? Did you make a lot of money? So much money you don't even know what to do with it? That's not freedom, that's called excess. If you have enough money to do what you would like to do, then you make enough money. And I had enough money to do what I'd like to do. I still do. I still go on trips all the time. I still fucking fly out all the time. I still have the money to do whatever the fuck I want to do, and I have the ability to do that. Even in a committed relationship. That's crazy. Did you work in a field that's fun and interesting? Yes, I do. I just finished my job in the field that I've been in for the last year and a half. And then I'm going into law starting in the summer once I'm done with my classes. But guess what? I have made enough money to where I don't even need to fucking work. So again, you're not all that much better, right? Your excess, you continue to work, whereas my excess, I save to the point where I can take months off and do whatever the fuck I want and still go on trips during that months off. You're not all that, buddy. I hate to break it to you. You're not all that. He's a G, so like he must be right. I mean, facts, bro. I love that he still just like didn't answer my question. Hold up. I'm getting water. Don't worry, it takes 2 seconds. It's like 2 steps away. All right. Do we have anything new? Hydrate check? Hell yeah, hydrate check. Dude, it's fucking 1:40 in the morning, and this dude is deciding to pop off right now. Dude has absolutely no life. Access is when you're so happy and successful and full of life and so lacking in concern you are super motivated and happy. I don't think that's what excess is. I don't think you know what excess is. I respectfully don't think happiness can be exceeded. So there are actually studies on this. There is kind of like a, what's this called? Fucking, I forget what that curve is called. It's not a J curve. It's like a reverse J curve. That shows happiness and income. And there's a spot where it pretty much evens out. There's actually, if your happiness gets high, if your income gets high enough, your happiness actually tends to decline at some point. Just so you're aware. Just so you're aware. And again, having the ability to make money and then take months off at a time, go on vacations during that time, even when you are making money going on vacations, that seems like success. I don't need more than that. If I worked more than that, I'd be sacrificing something else. And I don't feel like that's necessary. So I don't, and rather, I work as much as I want to, and then I take breaks, and I do whatever the fuck I want. His last 2 brain cells are firing off, right? They've been firing off for like the last hour. Don't make me do it. Guys, what do you think he's gonna do? What could he possibly do that he hasn't already done? How many kids do you have in your basement? He's gonna say how many kids he has in his basement. I know it. Don't make me say it. What is it, buddy? Take some hostage. Let's go, Racer. Spit it out, pussy. You're jealous of me? Why would I be jealous of you? Why would I be jealous of someone who works on an oil rig? You know, people who generally have to leave their families for like weeks at a time and not be able to see their families during that time. That doesn't sound like a fun time to me. It really doesn't. It also doesn't sound like a field that actually mentally stimulates me whatsoever because it requires idiocy to do. Okay, if you're like a normal oil rig worker. And also, it's not something that interests me whatsoever. Why the fuck would I be jealous of that? And also, why would I be jealous of you having 100 girls, which you're probably fucking lying about, when I am in a stable, healthy, committed relationship that I can actually talk about my feelings in, right? We can discuss future plans, and I have a best friend, and as you would characterize it, a pussy, right? Because that's all you think of women as. But I would have those two all in one, or I do have those two all in one. I'm living the life, buddy. You're just compensating for the lack of emotional connections that you do not know how to make. So I'm happy and you're not because I'm successful and you're not. So I'm happy and I'm also pretty damn successful, buddy. Again, you know absolutely nothing about me. And I think it's fucking hilarious. Clip and ship it, that's a screenshot of me in life. Not lying about it because again, money opens doors and all legs. Okay, let's think about that. Alex as possibly the only woman in chat right now. Does money open all legs? Bro says he's happy. If you're an entertainment fan, you can't be happy. It's the law. Also, if you have to say you're happy so many times and you're successful so many times, something makes me think that it's a little bit exaggerated at the very least. What do we got in Discord, Alex? Is it in general? Fuck. I gotta like open in the browser. Okay. Alex got a screenshot of Alex saying how many kids you have in your basement and Racer saying don't make me say it. That's fire. That's straight fire, bro. Is bisexual privilege real or no in the LGBT community? No. A lot of the LGBT community hates bisexuals. Who said I don't know how to make emotional connections? Pretty much you. You kind of self-reported yourself earlier. Oh god, there's 2 trolls under this bridge. You're confusing cannot with doesn't want to. I mean, you have shown signs of autism so far in this chat, which makes it harder for you to make emotional connections, and also your viewpoints make it harder for you to make emotional connections. So I wouldn't be surprised if the answer is actually can't, and you're hiding it with don't want to, right? So like me saying I don't want to quit. It's not hard to quit, but I just don't want to quit. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Bro, you connect to a dog like you're a woman. If you're ugly, you couldn't pay me enough. Fair. And he probably is. No offense, but this is a typical idea of money doesn't buy you happiness. Being poor and writing poetry buys you happiness. What if you did both? What if you're a rich poet who didn't suffer, who rolled around in pussy? So again, pussy has nothing to do with your happiness. I hate to break it to you. You are compensating. Second of all, yeah, you can be rich and do what you want. But again, just statistically, there is a flattening point of income versus happiness, and there's also a lowering point when you get enough income that your happiness tends to actually go down. I'm just telling you statistics. You can call it like the stereotypical idea, but it's statistics. Ass or tits? Tits for girls. Ass for guys. I think you're inherently upset that I'm rich and you're not. Why would I be upset by that? Literally, why would I be upset that you're rich? Also, you have no idea how much is in my bank account, buddy. Ooh, Alex brings up a good idea. The more you tell me that I'm compensating, the more it sounds like you're trying to knock me down and tell yourself things for why it doesn't matter that I'm well off. No, I'm not mad that you're successful. Usually people who have to repeat things over and over like that tend to have some sort of a lie in their statement. Again, this is just a statistical thing that people do. It's a psychological thing that people do. But again, I'm not mad that you're successful. I think that your viewpoints are idiotic though. Bro, if you hate women so much, maybe you should date a guy. You might like it. That's facts, bro. Dudes should try some dick. I'm not competing with you in any way. No doxing and too much work. We're not fucking doxing you. You can blur out your eyes or whatever people do to stop being identified. I don't know. Why do guys like big butts on guys? Guy ass is nice. Girl ass is kind of big. Guy ass is nice. Lazy or not interested in setting up Discord. Guys, how many accounts do we think this guy has, or like has gotten banned? Because this account that he's currently using was created December 26th, which is pretty good for what seems like a throwaway account. He's got what, like, I don't fucking know, what date is it? It's the 13th, so he's got 18 days on that account. He's doing pretty good with it. I think my views are fine, and I think you're trying to gaslight me into this idea because I'm super successful that I must be lacking in some other area like economic, emotional connections, or that I am at a high risk of suicide, and that there must be some negative to my existence because it offsets the positive. Again, I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm talking about statistically people in your situation. Okay? I actually never really said anything about you specifically. I was always talking statistics. Statistically, people with each factor that I had mentioned have either higher risks of suicide or lower life expectancy. You gave me the situations, I gave you the statistics, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. If you're mad at statistics, I don't know, go fucking make your own, I guess. What if my existence is simply magnitudes better than most of yours in chat? Then what? I mean, again, it probably isn't, because that is a very subjective thing to say, right? Your version of better might not be my version of better, might not be fucking Energy's version of better, it might not be, who else is in here? Beastie's version of better? Like, that's a very subjective thing to say. If in your view your life is better, sure, go for it, because you have 100 girls. But that sounds absolutely torturous for me. And also, again, as I said, there's a situation which tends to lower life expectancy. No, but why do straight men like women's big butts? I mean, we can go back to biology, biological drives. Can you guys cope? Know that I will wake up and live a better life than you? Can you cope knowing that we all have better grammar than you? Even fucking Energy, a high schooler, has better grammar than you? I'd be surprised if he was one of them. Beastie might be right. I just realized your name is Beatles Boy, not Beastie Boy. I'm sorry, but I'll try to call you Beatles. Also, don't know why they did a bunch of follows. It was kind of annoying, but I got them up to 1K. It's actually it's follow rates. It like fucks with people's stats, and it can hurt their like chances at partner if they're not partnered yet, or like sponsorships and shit. It's fucked up, but it's follow bots. The Magic 8 Ball says you're self-centered. It's not torturous because everyone knows where they stand. Nobody is pretending that this is something other than what they want. This is my relationship. My relationship is with my work. My idea is what I do. My relationship is not with people. Can you imagine spending all of your time discussing feelings or something else that's irrelevant? I mean, feelings are very relevant. Also, this sounds like very much like autism. Again, it's not an insult, but you just sound like you have autism. And everybody knows it's not torturous because everyone knows where they stand. Again, like I said, for me, it would be torturous. Learn how to listen a little bit better, buddy. Why the fuck are we so sexually attracted to where shits and farts come from? I don't know, because I'm not. What are we doing right now, after all? To some extent, we're engaging in a debate about ideology or philosophy. That's what our resources should be spent on, not interpersonal relationships, not talking for the sake of talking, or talking without ideas. So you can talk with ideas. No one's saying not to talk about ideas. We're just talking about how, again, statistically, it's better for you as an individual to have a long-term committed relationship. It's better for your own well-being. It's okay to be on the spectrum? Yeah, exactly. To have autism, or am I just not a boring-ass bitch who has something going for them in life? So first of all, those two are not mutually exclusive in any way. And second of all, I'm saying that you have autism because of your social skills right now that are lacking. I mean, I have a past or a thing I do which is not purely about relationships with other people. I mean, technically, most of your job theoretically should be relationships with other people. What was that? Beatles, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the family, buddy. Thanks, man. I dreamt what I did. I need my popcorn. Dude, go get it. Enjoy this shit. It's also all getting edited down and going onto YouTube later. Just so everyone's aware. My social skills are way higher than yours, no offense. I appreciate your attempts to put me down though. Maybe you'll get better at those attempts when you stop being a dumbass. Your social skills are way higher than mine. I mean, possibly, but again, that doesn't mean that you don't have autism. Second of all, you appreciate my attempts to put you down. I'm not trying to put you down, I'm trying to put you into perspective. Maybe you'll get better at those attempts when you stop being a dumbass. Again, you have yet to disprove absolutely anything I've said. Everything I've said has been backed by statistics. Nothing you said has been backed by statistics or history or anything. So, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Can you cite any sources that are reliable, that are maybe not Andrew Tate? That would be nice. So we can have an actual intellectual conversation, which it seems like you don't know how to do. How doesn't it mean I don't have autism? You can have higher social skills than someone and still have autism. There are people who are really good at masking. Everything I've said has been backed by statistics. Send me the stats right now. We find an idiot. We found an idiot. We did. CatQ, welcome to the chat. Because you're new here, where are you from? What are your general political views? But welcome in, buddy. You came at the best time, because we have a fucking troll. And thank you for the follow, CatQ. I really appreciate it. Name one thing I've said that hasn't been accurate or backed by stats. First of all, you saying that women take 5-year maternity leave and acting like that was normal. 7 months minimum. You saying it was a 7-month minimum. That is unfactual. And then we can go back later on to the conversation where you said you should treat women like dogs. That is actually a form of emotional abuse. Just so you know. And also can be very controlling and can lead to physical abuse. Leading on from that, you said that it's not harmful that you don't have relationships with people, which it quite literally is. There's one other thing, it's slipping my brain. I'm sure I'll pop it in the highlight channel and you'll see it. Anyways. Soulless death and despair. I don't know what's going on, but I don't think I like anyone here. We're just trolling a troll back. Racer's being a little bitch and we're entertaining it because he's fucking hilarious. Anyways, because you're new here, where are you from? What are your general political views? Kaki from New Zealand, solid. I got cousins there. Are you therefore claiming that you have autism? I do actually have autism. Congratulations. That's how I can tell. People with autism kind of have an autism radar, buddy. It's kind of like a gaydar for gay people. Did I bait you into admitting that you're an autismo? Are you acting like having autism is bad? Some of the smartest people on this planet have autism. So, seems like you would want to, considering that's all you strive for and nothing else. Should we time out Racer for 10 minutes? I mean, if someone redeems the timeout, we can do the timeout. Conservative, I gotta piss. Okay, have a good piss. I didn't say they take 5 years maternity leave. You quite literally did. Anyone can go back in the VOD and see your chat about it. And also, when I'm editing this, it'll be right here. Congratulations. Male penis? What? So you can't read apparently because, again, it's below your level because you're an idiot. Alright, buddy. Good one, dude. You got him. Yeah, exactly. Define relationship. I had plenty of relationships with your mom last night. I'm sure you did. What if I told you my mom's dead? Anyways, a relationship is an intimate relationship and partnership with someone where you are able to talk about your feelings and where you generally have intimate physical relations as well, but as an emotional intimacy with another person. I clicked on it earlier, Energy. I don't want to watch it. Autism radar, huh? Got any source for that, pal? Prove it. Great. You can say it doesn't exist, but I mean, people with autism tends to find like friends and like beam out other people with autism with pretty good accuracy. Just from like, it's just anecdotal from me and the other people with autism that I know that we managed to beam each other out with. But yeah, I mean, you can ignore that one. But again, you have shown signs of it already in this chat. North Carolina progressive leftist, solid. Welcome in, buddy. Because I stated that maternity leave would have to be 5 years for it to be truly maternity leave. You actually said, I'm pretty sure, and I quote, maternity leave is 5 years. I wonder if I open up my chat. Hold up, there's a way for me to like pull this up. Gotta go to mod view, I think. Let's see here. There we go. We're in mod view, and then I can go to your name, and I can see all of your wonderful chats. See if I can control F this. Hold up. There we go. Dude, stop saying the fucking word. Does not go back up all the way. It doesn't let me control F all the way up. That's fucking annoying. I gotta scroll and find it. This is idiotic. But I think I'm gonna do it. I think it's honestly worth it. Was it before or after he said that he's psychologically stronger than women? I think it was before. Oh, here we go. One of the many comments about this. We have Racer. Maternity leave for 5 years? Who is going to clean the diapers until the kid knows how to walk and talk? LOL. And then he said maternity leave lasts for 7 months minimum, plus you need to stay home and take care of the infant. 7 months minimum was not factually backed. Just so everyone is aware. Make sure to upload this and post the messages you clipped out, idiot. I mean, I'm not clipping out anything. I might make a couple cuts when I'm talking to other people, but I'm not going to clip out anything, don't worry. They'll be able to see everything. So no sources and reason. For one thing, I used anecdotal evidence, yes, because you can't prove a gaydar or an autism dar. But all of the other things that I've said have been backed up by numerous studies and meta-analyses. You were the only one that said, no one said maternity leave for 5 years. You were the only one that brought up 5 years. There is no way that does not insinuate that you're saying maternity leave is for 5 years. If that's not what you meant, maybe you should learn how to write better, you fucking idiot. Why don't you time him out? Because someone's got to redeem timeout for him to get a timeout. Unless he crosses a personal line, and then I will just time him out because I want, or ban him or time him out because I want to. That's the argument to make the man the caregiver, which would be undesirable and pretty unnatural in my opinion. We also stated, and there are again studies that back this, that the child having a relationship with both the mother and the father is very beneficial to their own development in those like infant years. So again, you're wrong right there. Bro died at the bottom of the well. Bro died in the well at the bottom of the hill. They will be able to see how you can only rely on dumb straw men and otherwise bad arguments. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, considering we've had a lot of people coming in and out of here, and not a single person agrees with you, Racer, that might say something. Like the idea that a person doesn't need to be 100% absorbed by the relationship they're in, like a person with no hobbies or interests or career. No one said that. No one said that's what a relationship is. No healthy relationship is like that.
No! God,
Sorry, Beatles. Gotta keep going. The studies have flawed data. All science and research is flawed once you leave fields of physics, chemistry, and so on. Social science have extremely rocky research, and studies have also confirmed this too. Yeah, so studies are not 100%. However, studies show trends. Studies in social sciences show trends, and especially meta-analyses show trends. I don't know. I don't expect you to actually know what a meta-analysis is because it doesn't sound like you have the mental capability to actually understand that. But a meta-analysis is one of the best forms of studies that exist out there. Okay. For social sciences, and meta-analyses show trends across many different studies. Okay, they show what seems to be the reoccurring theme when these things happen, right? For example, unmarried men having lower life expectancies. You literally said that? No, I said that you should put time and effort into your wife or girlfriend or whatever. I said that they should not be thrown by the wayside. I didn't say that they have to be everything. I didn't say you can't have any hobbies or anything like that. I quite literally said that I have hobbies, that I go on vacations, that I fly places while I am in a committed relationship, you fucking idiot.
Sometimes there's conservatives that suck, then there's the fun ones.
Facts. What do you idiots do for fun? I troll the trolls for fun. Seems like complete nonsense, and for that reason, I'm out. Alright, so let's have a good night. We're having fun, though. We're having fun trolling trolls. No, they're not 100%. They are so not 100%. Old studies get routinely contradicted 100% by new studies that are then contradicted again by even new studies. Human data is inherently unreliable and subject to 100 different external factors, and like culture and zeitgeist and worldwide trends. Right. So that's why you look at current data to look at the current nature of society, right? When you're studying things that are like within the realm of sociology, the study of society changes. So you need present and relevant studies. That's a crazy idea. Oh my God. I never thought of that. I never thought about the fact that I only cite studies that have happened within the last 10 years, sometimes 15, but pretty much the last 10 years. That's crazy. Absolutely insane, bro. That's crazy. No one ever thought that cultures and societies change. Oh my goodness. I'm so dumbfounded by this idea. Wow. Energy. Not right now, bro. Not right now. And you're, again, always bringing up stupid shit. You're always bringing up Jew-related shit. And it's really weird. I hate to break it to you, but it's weird. Anyways. Articles over 10 years old are usually outdated. Yeah, exactly. The only time I'll use, I think I've used like 1 or 2 15-year-old studies. I don't think I've used them today. I think the studies I've cited today have not been. But I used a couple of old ones when there's no more recent studies on the matter. So I'm saying studies about children's outcomes with 2 primary parents is misleading, and it's likely due to outside factors like 2-parent households are much more likely to be better off. 2-parent households are much more likely to have fewer children, which leaves more resources for the few children, etc. Well, yeah, it's not just about the 2 parents, but the 2 parents have okay. Do you understand how studies are done? Do you understand how confounding variables are eliminated? When you look at households, okay, what you do in a study is you relate like families to each other, right? So, example, if you have a two-child low-income family, it's going to be related to other 2-child low-income families generally, okay? And then you can find the differences between these families and see the trends in like the parents and such. That is how studies are done, okay? Confounding variables are generally accounted for. Obviously, there are bad studies. I'm not saying every study is good, but confounding variables are generally accounted for, and that leads to things like what you just said generally not being super relevant. I don't say this often, but this guy is Jesus, bro. I would agree. So in conclusion, you're upset and mad because I blew your ass out harder than your gay lover. No one's blowing my ass out harder than Alex, not gonna lie. The fact you're still explaining this, I gotta leave for a second, don't worry. I think he's almost done because he just said in conclusion. I wish I was big brain. I'd be smooth brain dude. Smooth brain though. Did you ever look at an actual study, 90% of studies out there never eliminate confounding variables, and if they attempt to, their methodology is extremely shoddy and subjective and based on limited information and research. Tell me how you eliminate culture. I'm not saying eliminate culture. I'm saying that studies of society actually have to take into account culture, because culture creates society. And generally, a lot of these studies are from sociological fields, which means that sociology, the study of society, which is created by culture. Culture is a massive variable. Culture is society. Culture is what we are studying. Culture creates you as a massive fucking misogynist and a terrible human being. Congratulations. Culture. But guess what? It creates society, because the culture of people like you creates people like Andrew Tate, and then we have all these issues, and then we have human trafficking, yada, 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 right? So culture actually influences all of society, and you cannot eliminate culture. There's actually no way to eliminate culture. But what you have to do is you have to take into account culture and say, well, yes, culture is known to have created societies, right? Culture is the backbone of society. And when culture shifts, society generally shifts in the same way. And so what you have to do is you have to continue to redo these studies to adapt to the changing culture and to have the most relevant information possible. Also, like I said before, yes, there are shitty studies out there. 90% is a vast overstatement. The highest statement I've seen is maybe 50%. But there are a lot of studies out there. However, again, going back to meta-analyses, right? Meta-analyses that do actually look into these studies and make sure that variables are accounted for. And also, you can do your own research and look into the studies and find the studies that actually eliminate for these variables. No evidence of Tate participating in human trafficking. The timing is always an issue. He is literally admitted to almost every part of human trafficking at some point or another, right? When you combine all the things that he has said together, he has quite literally admitted to the action that is human trafficking. Saying that he takes their passports, he doesn't pay them as much as he says they're going to, because he steals it, because he says it's for taxes, because they're too dumb to figure it out. He takes their passport. They're not allowed to leave the house without him. They're not allowed to do anything without him. They're his porn stars, and they work for him. They belong to him. They're not allowed to have their own bank account. All of this is hallmarks of human trafficking, you fucking idiot. Yo, bro, talking a lot of gay figures of speech and metaphors. Maybe you should take the gay path. I mean, I feel like anyone who likes Andrew Tate is like, got a little bit of homosexuality in it. Not gonna lie. Or her. I mean, maybe there's a girl who likes Andrew Tate, but that's few and far between, to say the least. I love that this guy just straight spammed my chat. And now he's just gone. He just disappeared because he has nothing to say, because he doesn't know how to have an actual intellectual conversation. What he doesn't understand is that he probably dropped out of high school or barely graduated high school, and he thinks that he can actually keep up this fucking conversation. There's a boyfriend out there for you somewhere. I mean, yeah. Anyone who wants a boyfriend, there's a boyfriend out for you somewhere. I'm sure too. Boyfriends are cool. Girlfriends are cool too. Relationships are cool. It's cool to have intimate and deep connections with people. And it's cool to have improved mental and physical health outcomes from those. Those are all really cool things to have in life. Anyways, ladies, do we think he's done, or do we think he's gonna keep going? What is everyone's opinion here? Think we'll actually be able to get back to our video too. We spent fucking so long on this. We spent like an hour and a half on that, I think. That's gonna be hell to edit, not gonna lie. Alright, we got about 20 minutes left today, I'm gonna say. Oh, also, wait, announcement. I know a lot of my regulars aren't in here, but I feel like this is a good time to do my announcement. For anyone who was in here last week when I announced that I'll be going to the capital of my state, to lobby probably, that got confirmed today. I'll be going at the end of the month, and it's gonna be dope as shit. So, I'm owning you at every stage of this convo while you are misleading 1 week straw man talking about me claiming that I said maternity leave was 5 years when literally everything I said about maternity leave was me making fun of it. As some 2 months stupid exercise. You actually never said 2 months. You said 7 months minimum. I read that off. All right. I read that off word for word from your comment. Anyways, it's 2 months as some 2 months stupid exercise for office workers that in no way solves the question of what to do for 5 years after the baby is born, however long you'd like, for in-person care given to an infant. So again, you still fail to recognize that a father has a role in the child's upbringing, and a father has actually a pretty monumental role, pretty much just equal to the fucking mother's role, because that's how parenting actually is supposed to work for best results for the child. We also talked about how there's a saying that was created for a reason, that it takes a village to raise a child, because there are other key players such as aunts, uncles, siblings, grandparents that can all help to take care of this child and raise this child, that can all allow the parents, specifically the mom, to continue to fucking work. We talked about how they can work opposite schedules, right? So like the mom can work nights, the dad can work days, or vice versa. There are ways to make this work, and it's very obvious that you've never been around the parents of a newborn, because you would completely understand by having any sort of a conversation with them, assuming you know how to get to an emotional level and talk about how they're doing. You would be able to figure out that it takes more than just two parents to raise a fucking kid. Bro, you should write a book. Seems like you had a lot of stuff to say. Okay, what if the grandparents are older or need care themselves? Right, then you go to other family members, and if you don't have other family members, you can go to friends, you can hire services. There's plenty of options here that can still allow the mom to work if she so chooses. The whole idea surrounding this being that if the mom wants to work, she can be allowed to work. Just like if the dad wants to work, he can be allowed to work. Uncles, aunts, cousins, siblings, if there are any. All of these people are part of the person's family. Uncle, step-nephew. Bro, what are these hypotheticals? These hypotheticals are called a not broken family. I understand that you didn't come from a family with any parental figures, but also understand that that was bad and that harmed you, very obviously, right? So, again, when we look at how an entire family surrounding to support and raise a child actually leads to better outcomes for that child, that is what should be pushed for. Racer, are you this dumb? He is. What are these hypotheticals? No, he's not dumb. Are you sure about that, Beatles? I feel so harmed rolling in my cash, success, and fulfillment, none of which you have, and all of which you yearn and strive for. If I'm gonna end up being a person like you with the kind of beliefs that you have, I hope I never get there. I sat here for 10 minutes and I can't help but feel bad. Feel bad for who, Kaku? Who are you feeling bad for? For Racer? For being a fucking idiot? I mean, yeah. I think he's retarded as fuck. We're just betas, we can't understand his levels. I mean, maybe, I guess. I said every kid ever to their parent, I will never be like you, I hate you. Are you trying to say that you're my fucking parent? I'm trying to say that if I ever get to the point where I see women as fucking dogs, and see women as people who should be treated equal to dogs, even worse than dogs, if I think that women are worse than dogs, God fucking kill me, bro. I would never want to live a life where that is the outlook I have on fellow human beings. Dude, I'm not even fucking shaming you. If you actually are rich, I'm not even fucking shaming you. I'm shaming you for your beliefs, not for anything you have. I never shamed you for something that you have. Are you fucking idiot? I didn't ask what you think he thought about you. Why is he mad at me? Why does he think I'm a terrible person? He doesn't. He's genuinely upset that that a person with a much higher standard of living in chat, and he needs to win and knock me down so he can live with himself. Yeah, so the whole thing that I just said just didn't happen. Yeah, buddy. Do you have like an inability to listen? Are you deaf also? That would be like one of the only explanations here. Are you deaf? Real question. That was copy pasted. Was it actually? I am Andrew Tate and your dad in disguise. By being an ableist to deaf people, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just asking, right? Because it would mean that I would have to give you a little bit of leeway in the fact that you haven't listened to me, listened to a thing that I fucking said. But if you're not deaf, then I'm not going to give you any of that leeway. You're not just asking? No, I am just asking. Don't worry. Don't insinuate things. It was a genuine question. Again, your lack of interactions and real connections with people shows here, right? When you think that there was an insinuation there when all I did was ask if you're deaf. The only insinuation was, do I need to be more lenient because he hasn't listened to a thing that I fucking said? Or is it valid to be, to clap back at him because he hasn't listened to a thing that I fucking said? What have I ever said that is bad about you being successful? What sort of hate do you think I've given you towards you being successful, dude? Jesus, Beatles. You hate me because I'm better than you, you know I'm better than you, and this bothers you. Again, I judge the goodness of a person based on their moral character. And in my moral framework of the world, you are by no means better than me, my friend. Sure, you might have more money than me. That doesn't make you better than me. Because, again, that's not how I judge better. If that's how you judge it, sure, go for it. But that is, again, not how I judge it. Not how I ever wish to judge it. Moral imperative, take that into life chat. Yeah, just fucking, dude, when you're deciding who to associate with, and you're deciding who to just like really surround yourself with in your life, please chat. And honestly, Racer, if you listen to this, it might help you a little bit, but follow yourself with morally decent people. They don't have to be perfect. I don't think anyone's perfect, but follow yourself with morally decent people, such as people who treat other human beings as human beings. I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb for who you're surrounding yourself with. Just a quick life lesson to chat that we're exemplifying with people like Racer. Hold on, I thought you need God to make moral decisions. Sure. Yeah. I appreciate your well-researched advice coming from an 18-year-old. That's funny you think I'm 18. It shows how little you know about me, my friend. And I appreciate the advice, and we'll stick it firmly in the trash can where it belongs. Okay, you can see where that gets you in life. You can see where that gets you in life. That's funny you think I'm 19. Again, funny. You don't know shit about me. I know 15-year-olds that could out-debate you with ease. Let's do it. Throw them on. Get in the Discord. I'm actually not going to get with you in the Discord because you feel like someone who actually throws slurs, so I'm not going to do that. I don't feel like having that on my channel. But, I mean, sure, go for it. You can try. So far, pretty sure there's not a debate that I've been in that I've lost. So... Oh shit, I thought Beatles, my bad. I thought that was Racer. My bad. Sorry, Alpha King. Where it gets you in life, I just told you where I got in your life. I'm not talking about money. Guess what? The world doesn't revolve around money. Not everything is about money. Okay? There are other things that are important in life other than money. And one day, when you're old and gray, I hope eventually you figure that out. I think it will be good for you to figure that out eventually. He's so emotional he cannot naturally comprehend English. He is looking for any win at this point. What, buddy? You're the one who's had shitty grammar damn near this whole time. You're finally starting to figure it out, but for a while there, your grammar was, made me question if you actually, knew English. What I'm actually really hoping is that he doesn't know English, and he doesn't know what a dog is, and he's, like, actually holding women at super high prestige, but he just doesn't know what the word dog is. That's, like, my secret hope here. What, buddy? Followed up by grammar Nazi criticism? I mean, you're the one that said that I don't comprehend English. I think it was a fair rebuttal. One of us has shown a lack of grammar. One of us has shown absolutely nothing in certain terms of not being able to comprehend English. So... Bro... Do you have any other halfway decent points, Racer? Seems like you're kind of spun out and you're just kind of grasping at straws at this point. Yes, not comprehending English naturally is a little bit different to criticizing my lack of proper punctuation. So where did I not comprehend English, buddy? Where did that happen? Where do you think that happened? When I was skimming through chat and I saw your name a bunch of times and then I forgot to read the name of one of the chats? Does that count as not comprehending English? Because you send a million fucking chats and then I have to just skim through them to keep up sometimes? Does that count as not comprehending English? Because if it does, sure, yeah. I don't comprehend English. Congratulations, big dub for you, the fuck? So do you have anything, Racer? I have a question for you. What is your opinion on Jewish people in media? What's your opinion on that? Just genuine question here. Are you scared that I'm narrowing down my criticisms to a few very easy to understand points that will stay in your head because you to become traumatized and cause you to become traumatized and dwell on this conversation far more than you'd like to? Don't worry. I've never dwelled on a troll on fucking Twitch before, and I never will. Y'all mean absolutely shit to me. Hey, because I'm curious, but low-key I already know the answer. What's your view on abortion? Oh, the view on abortion is going to be very obvious. Yes, Racer, I'm talking to you, and I think he is talking to you. Yeah, he's talking to you as well. You got 2 questions in front of you. The rest of chat. What do we think his answer is going to be to these 2 questions? I mean, the abortion one's easy. We all know the abortion one. What do we think his answer is going to be about Jews in media? Jew in media is not something I care about deeply. Good. I'm proud of you for that one. Congratulations. I have another question for you. Who would you vote for 2024, given what you know right now? Who would you vote for president 2024? Oh, wait, you're not American, are you? You're not American. I don't think that works. There are objective statistical abnormalities, but I don't think it matters in wider conversation. Good. I'm proud of an 18-year-old with no knowledge or life skills or accomplishments trying to be proud of me. I mean, I'm about to graduate with 2 degrees in like 3 months, 4 months, something like that. Which is probably more than you have, just saying. My cat is world famous. Is he actually? Is your cat your profile picture cat? Send us the cat. Send us the cat in Discord, bro. I want to see the cat. Let's do it. Get on it. I'm waiting. In the fucking Discord. I don't join in Discord? Bro, you're so lame. But you like me? Does that mean you're gonna join? Getting strong? Thank you. If you want to join the Discord, it's below my picture if you're on desktop. But it's also there if you'd like to join the Discord. You see it? Okay. Cool. Cool beans, brother. Me neither. I'm too self-conscious. I only join Discords of communities I've been in for a while, to be fair. There's a couple that I've joined like for the moment. That's because I wanted to like have a conversation in Discord or something with someone. Streamer is very angry. Does this look like anger to you? Are we going back to this whole not being able to read social cues thing? My cat is something other people should discover. If you send your cat in Discord, I will show your cat on stream right now. Is he? He looks pretty chill. Yeah, Beetle says I look pretty chill. It looks like you're trying to feign a relaxed state of being. Okay, buddy. Cat. I want to see your fucking cat. Send it in the Discord. That sounds fucking creepy. But Cat Cube, please. Actually, I think we have a whole pets channel. I don't think anyone sent shit in the pets channel, not gonna lie. I should probably do that more often because y'all love Bailey. But, yeah, we have a whole pets channel just for that, Cat Cube. That says streamer isn't making any general points about the conversation. I mean, the conversation died because you refused to answer our questions. Did you answer the question about abortion? I don't think you have. I think I was still waiting on that answer. How does it feel to have wasted tens of thousands of dollars? I think I'm at like 3K in debt, buddy. And unbeknownst to you, I'm actually doing something I really care about. And again, I'm going into one of the highest paying fields in the country. So I don't really care about that. I don't really care about my 3K that I have to pay off. His true inner monologue is constrained to this conversation. What? You still haven't answered the fucking abortion question, bro. Beatles for facts. You bought this profile, I would chat with you. I think we might agree on a lot of things. Well, stay and hang out. We'll probably not have to end stream decently soon, just because it's fucking 1:30 in the morning. But I mean, I'm here 4 days a week. What am I here? Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. I'm here at 8 o'clock Pacific time. Maybe Racer will show up again. What do we think, guys? Do we think Racer's gonna show up again? I still haven't answered the abortion question. I answered your JQ question, and which you said my views on abortion were obvious. I still wanted you to answer. I didn't say I didn't want you to answer it. I actually said that I wanted you to answer both. I said that I think I know the answer to abortion. I think that one's obvious, but I would like to hear the answer anyways. Never said that I didn't want the answer. Are you streaming tomorrow? Yeah, I'm streaming at 8 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. How about we chat for 10 minutes? What do you mean chat? Like, do you mean like chat like on Discord, voice chat? Abortion is undesirable late term and maybe undesirable midterm. Abortion early term is not called abortion or didn't used to be. Early term, midterm, late term. Are you talking like first, second, third trimester? What are you talking about for terms? Discord, yeah. Hop in the waiting room and I'll pull you in. We can do that for sure. Yeah, once you're in the waiting room, I'll pull you in. Kind of implied that you didn't care about that question. I actually specifically said that I wanted you to answer both. Again, listening skills, just work on it. What do you want to talk about, Kaki? If you're not already working on joining it, what do you want to talk about? You still haven't. Socialism is bullshit. Welcome in, buddy. Welcome to the chat. I have some guesses, but because you're new here, where are you from? What are your general political views? I would agree with you that socialism is bullshit. Congratulations, my friend. Your lying skills, they should definitely improve. Again, you can watch back the VOD and see that I'm right. It's pretty fucking easy. Up to you. You're the one that wants to come chat. What do you want to chat about? Glenn Laurie, correct? Yep. Are you a Republican? Yeah, I'm a libertarian, but I tend to vote red. I'm not like solely Republican, but I do tend to vote red, which is why the whole gay Republican thing is a thing. Go ahead, do it, Racer. Fucking do it. I dare you. You can see that I'm right. Actually, anyone else can watch back the VOD and see that I'm right. You seem to, again, have selective hearing or an inability to hear. Can't really tell which one it is. So, there's only so much I can do for you. Koina? Koina? Is that what your name is? Koina. Okay, yeah. Am I in school? Yes, I am. I am graduating very soon, but yes. Socialism is great, it's just not. Dude, I literally never said anything about you making money being bad. You do realize that, right? Like, you're trying to say that I'm strawmanning everything, and I've just not said anything about you making money being bad. So, don't know what you're on here. Yo, I'm gonna keep my socialism views to myself. You can talk about your socialism views here. There's a lot of new people here tonight, but because you're all new here, the reason I have this channel is so that anyone can talk about the views that they have right? So long as we're following TOS and such, which Racer is very borderline on here. He's actually broken TOS, but I'm giving him a pass. But as long as you're following TOS and you can be respectful of people in chat, especially my girlfriend, if you disrespect her more than once, like in a serious way, you're probably getting booted. Other than that, y'all are all staying because I think it's really important to have open conversation. So welcome in everyone new that's here tonight. You don't need to say anything about anything. You don't need to say anything about anything to act in a way so as to display this disposition. Pog. He says so much and so little. Dude, fuck. Cat, do you wanna join the do you wanna join the Discord or no? Yes, no, maybe so. I also have a shit ton of editing because I have to try to edit that debate to look like a debate that happened earlier because we got very off topic very fast and we were just talking because we're butts. So I'm gonna try to edit that to make it look like a debate. I don't know if I can. And then this whole section is gonna get edited so it doesn't take 2 hours to get through. TLDR, he doesn't understand what I wrote because he's too mad to think clearly. Can we do a poll in chat? Let's do a poll in chat. Am I mad? Do I look mad? Good one, Beatles. Alright. Does Corpse look mad? Yes. No. Go for it, motherfuckers. Do I look mad? Have I looked mad, really, most of this time? I got a little bit heated at one point, but, like, for the most part, do I look mad? Let's see what chat thinks. I was banned from 2 channels for saying that socialism's bullshit. That is bullshit. that, I mean, it sounds like Twitch. Sounds like the fucking lefties on Twitch, but that's bullshit. I'm sorry, man. Always the best way to decide questions of truth. Well, what you're thinking is actually a very subjective thing, right? So we're going to see at what the general subjective is rather than just your own subjective view, right? So we're going to see what the general people think in response to this question so that we can determine if you have a skewed view. Y'all fucking vote, little bitches. So we can determine if you have a skewed view or a realistic view. You look pissed. Yeah, his anger is beyond me. Yeah, I'm so pissed. You look tense and seething? I'm sure I look tense and seething. Look at that. No wins the day. Look at that, Racer. Subjectivity is actually both irrelevant and not true. You can absolutely learn to read people's emotional states. Yes, but it's very obvious that your reading of emotional states is very subjective considering no one else thinks the same way you do. No one voted yes on that. You didn't even vote yes on that. But no one voted yes on that. Okay? That indicates to me that your reading of the situation might be a little bit inaccurate. And also, you don't know me. Every single person has different social cues. Has slightly different at the very least, especially when it comes to secondary emotions such as anger. So, you, being in here for your little like hour and a half, you know jack shit about me. You know jack shit about my emotions. You know jack shit about how I act. Okay? So again, you have never actually seen me mad. So again, learn to actually understand situations. It might be a touch of the tism, not to judge, but it is important to learn these things. And since we're both men and who are both not idiots, you will want to gain this ability. Don't worry. I've got the ability, my friend. Wait, what? Do it again? He didn't get to vote? He didn't hear? Oh, he heard it. He heard it because he was talking about it. While the vote was up, he was talking about the vote. Don't worry. He heard it. Chat is full of simps, people who agree with you because they all agree with your side of the arguments, and lurkers who don't even pay attention. Should I call you Apollo? I don't know what to call you. But welcome to the family, buddy. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Chat is full of simps. People who agree with you because they agree with your side of the arguments. That's crazy. I mean, yeah. All of the valid arguments that I have been making that you are quite literally unable to disprove because they're all statistically proven. The only way you can disprove them is to say that just fucking statistics don't exist, which is, again, another idiotic claim made by people who just don't like statistics. Don't like that the statistics go against their own narrative, mostly. Yeah, people that agree with you because they agree with your side of the argument. Dude is acting like I'm just constantly attacking him for, like, the fact that he has money, which I literally never did. The only thing about the money that I said is that there is statistically an increase in happiness, and there is a even off point, and then there is a decline if you reach a certain income. That's the only thing I said about, like, income. I never actually hated on him. I said that he might be lying, but that's just because he feels the need to continuously say it. That's all I've really said about his income, and he's like, oh, you're so mad. I follow one socialism channel. I don't say anything, as I like listening to other views regardless if I think they're bad, because everyone who asks a question and challenges them on their answer with radio edit and ban you. Yep, I definitely feel that. I'm banned from... I'm timed out from a couple people. I'm banned from a couple people. But I watch plenty of lefties. One, because some of them are entertaining, even if I hate their views. And also just... It's good to understand the other side of your own views. It helps you be able to understand your own views better. Sorry for the long messages. That is shorter than some of the messages I get. Don't worry, buddy. I could sum life up to some people are whack. I think that you are correct. I can say the statistics exist. I can just also say that they are very shoddy and have terrible elimination for secondary variables. Again, it is very obvious that you haven't actually looked into these studies. Because you can look in and you can see the methodology, you can see how the data is analyzed, and you can see this all also in meta-analyses. All right? You can go and see all these things. And it's very obvious that you have not, or that you don't know how research actually works. I don't know which is the truth. I'm not ascribing one of those options to you. Either one could be the truth. DFK, welcome in, buddy. Glad you finally showed up. As I have, thank you, resident 19-year-old. He still hasn't gotten my age right. Guys, how long do you think it'll take him to get my age right? Bro, we can hate you and still be chill. Yeah, he doesn't understand that. He, like, was out of the gate practically just typing all caps and shit. My English is very poor, but I can understand. Sorry, man. Yeah. There's plenty of people in my chat that don't have the best English. It's as long as you try, it's fine. I'm not gonna shit on you for it. Just don't speak other languages because me and my mods cannot judge it. So I'm just gonna delete it immediately. Most studies do not account for any kind of variables might influence the results. Well, you were talking about culture as a variable, but you failed to understand that culture creates society. Culture is the variable really being studied here. Most studies simply take a slice of the population and report the findings, very, very low-level information. Buddy, the bigger the study, the more generalizable it is. Also, the more representative of the general population, the more generalizable a study is. Obviously, you do not understand these concepts. You do not understand how to analyze a study by yourself. But some of us do. Some of us are actually educated in these things. So maybe you should take a couple notes, maybe learn it yourself, and then come back to me and talk. Indeed, some people have such terrible English they don't even get when Beals Boy was talking to me or the streamer, Gorpsync. Yeah, sure, that's totally terrible English. That's not just, you know, quickly reading through chats and missing one name. Bro, wait, what? What, Beatles? That's a me or him? Y'all, I don't think Cat's coming on Discord. Fucking lame. Lame little bitch. And actually, bigger versus smaller studies are irrelevant. The idea that a study gets better with size is pretty ridiculous after you reach a good sample number. It's actually not ridiculous because the bigger the study is, the more shown the trend is that is happening, right? So if you have a trend among 5 people, not going to be so good. If you have a trend against 100 people, going to be slightly better. If you have a trend against 5,000 people, it's going to be slightly better. If you have a trend against 30,000 people, it's going to be a pretty fucking solid trend. If you have a trend against a fucking million people, it's going to be a damn near rock solid trend. Assuming that these are all representative of the general population. I got a cat, but I'm bad at using Discord. Again, Smooth Brain. Do you guys want to see Bailey? There's a lot of new people in here. A lot of you guys haven't met Bailey yet. Bailey, do you want to say hi to stream? We can totally do that. Bailey, come here. Where are you? Come here. Come on. Why are you sitting backwards on the chair? Okay. No, come back here. Come here. Sit. Sit. Good girl. This is my dog, Bailey. She is the light of my life. Like, the more information is likely to be in a soup of 100 different groups that have very different characteristics that in no way should be grouped together. Well, if you're trying to get a study that is representative of the population, you would need all of those groups if they exist in the population. You obviously are the one that doesn't understand how studies and data works when it comes to studies. Don't lay down. Stream wants to say hi to you. Don't lay down, please. She has chosen to lay down on my chair. Big question, very important answer. Cats or dogs? That is very important. Sir, do you understand what a study is? Yes, I've actually conducted studies. Dumbass. Bailey, get up. Again, judging by the occupation you told me, you have probably never actually conducted a study in the social sciences. And so it's very, I mean, it's kind of expected that you wouldn't know how they work. But one of us has and one of us has not. Can you not breathe into my mic? I love you. Studies based on sampling of the general population. The very idea and purpose of a sample is to get a good approximation of the overall population. Yes, that is accurate. And the larger a sample is, the more accurate a sample is. Because the more people there are, and the more data points there are to prove a trend. You work on a fucking oil rig? I don't think you're as educated in fucking social sciences than I am. You might be more educated in physics or some shit. I'm not saying that. But in social sciences, you quite literally are not. I'm gonna guess your age. Do it, Beatles. What do you think my age is? You just disagreed with this. I said the larger the sample size, the more accurate the sample is. That's exactly what I said. You just despise CCP. Okay. And? What is this? DFK, what is this? The Biden classified documents. That shit is to be expected, let's be honest. 23 or 22? No. Should we do a poll? Chat, do we want to do a poll of how old I am? See if any of you guys get it right. How old is Corpse? Let's say... What was Racer's youngest guess? 18? Should we just go up from there? All right. Let's start that one. How old am I, guys? There's a lot of options. Choose carefully. The poll is live. Go do it. I just pointed out that you didn't even know what a study was by telling me that you had to have a giant million-person study, that it would be so much better than the 30,000-person study. A 100-person study should already, if taken at random, with random sampling, give you the desired breakdown of the individuals in the population. So what I'm talking about is a countrywide sample, right? That is my basis of this, a countrywide study, right? So 100 people will not give you a proportionate representation of the population. General rule of thumb is under 1,000 is a bad study, especially for things like survey studies. Under 1,000 is bad study. So 1,000 would be like your bare minimum for a decent study, halfway decent. But you really want more than that. And what I'm telling you is just the trend of accuracy, where the more people there are, the more data points there are, the more clearly a trend is shown. That is just facts, bro. You cannot dispute that when there are more data points, a trend can be shown more clearly. Who voted for 20? Beatles contributed 500 channel points? How do I see who voted for what? Can I do that? I don't know how to do that. Anyways, 20 is correct. I'm 20. I'm not saying they need to survey the entire country to conduct studies, but what I'm saying, I'm actually showing you a trend, which you have apparently an inability to understand. What I'm showing you is a trend that the more data points there are, the more accurate a study is. I'm not saying you have to have 1 million people in a study, but I'm saying that the more people, the more accurate. Nobody does countrywide samples. I do countrywide samples. My study does countrywide samples. You fucking idiot. Shut down your channel already. I blew you out. This is pathetic. Corpse, aren't you 20? Yeah, I'm 20. You're falling back to some weak-ass candy-ass position. Scientists have solved the problem you describe. It's called random fucking sampling. Yeah, I am describing random sampling. But, so let's take where I live. I live in Washington State. Okay? If I do a random sample in Washington State, it is not going to be proportionate, especially when it comes to things like beliefs, as a random sample of the entirety of the country, right? So if I was to take 2 people from each state, it would be more representative of the overall population than it, or not necessarily 2 people, but a proportionate amount of people from each state, proportionate to population. That would be a more representative study than just me random sampling in Washington State. So you do countrywide studies. Okay, countrywide studies allow you to get a countrywide random sample. A countrywide random sample allows you to have more generalizability to the entire country. If I did a study and I did a random sample of just Washington State, my study would primarily, depending on what it was on, be generalizable to Washington State and the people in Washington State. And the fact that you're actually calling for countrywide samples, I'm saying if I want something generalizable across the country, when we're talking about things like beliefs, like I specifically said, yes, a countrywide sample is necessary. Do you think that a random sample in, let's take another example. Let's take LA. Do you think a random sample of LA would be representative of the entire population on, say, political views? Say that, for example. That is one that is commonly, it's one data point that is commonly taken in social sciences surveys, right? Do you think that a random sample 1,000-person study from LA is going to be representative of the entire population? Or even California at large? Follow-up question, what would be more preferable? A single countrywide sampling of the US of the US as a whole, or 50 different samplings of each state? That's what I'm saying. Most studies give you a mishmash of 100 different groups that shouldn't be together. It depends on what you are studying. Again, you have an inability to comprehend what I'm saying. I'm saying if I want my study to be fully generalizable by the whole population of the United States, right? As population of the United States as a whole, then I need to do a random sample that spans the United States as a whole. Okay? The studies that study specific states are not as generalizable, especially when it comes to things in social sciences regarding like beliefs or political affiliation, things like this, that are quite literally just not generalizable if you take them from a specific location. Are you a fucking idiot? Jesus Christ, you're so close to getting a ban just because you're pissing me off. Millions of people, and like I have already said, I'm not actually saying that million-person studies should happen, but what I was demonstrating, like I've already said, is a trend, that the more data points there are, the better that a trend is shown within a study. That is what I was saying. I was not saying that you have to have a million-person study, but I'm saying the larger the study, the more accurate the study is, assuming we were comparing it to studies that all account for the same variables. What if we did a countrywide poll on Racer being an idiot? I think we should do that. Take the L. If you don't take the L, it's going to be even worse because you're going to die on a very stupid hill of double down on a very stupid hill of million-person samples and studies. Again, that's not even what I'm doubling down on. Are you a fucking idiot? Do you not have an ability to comprehend anything that I am saying? Like, I genuinely think your IQ is about 0. at this point, I'm getting close to a ban because you don't have an ability to have an intelligent conversation. You're trying to act like you do and then you don't, which means that you're purely idiotic. Can I get a D? Can I get a U? Can I get an M? Can I get a B? What does that spell? Dumb. Razor keeps saying the same shit. I know. And he doesn't know how to formulate a different point or listen to my responses. He's just like practically copy and pasting. I'm not walking back my own takes. Are you a fucking idiot? You have an ability to understand what my actual take was. Actually, you know what, Racer? Here is the thing. Can you tell me my reasoning for talking about million-person studies? Can you tell me my reasoning? This might determine whether or not you get banned. What was my reasoning for telling you? For bringing up a million-person study? Answer that, or you're getting banned, and answer it correctly, or you're getting banned. No, it's 20. He has to join Twitch, so give him credit for being able to join. What? I like Alex's butting in here. I think it's beautiful. Racer, what do you have to say? Do 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 do. Oh, here he is. You said you wanted countrywide million-person samples. You defended the China study, which was a gross example of unnecessary population sizes. You're a pussy who got blown up. So I never actually mentioned the China study. I actually specifically didn't talk about it. Okay? And also, I didn't say that I want those studies. So you are quite literally inaccurate and have an inability to listen to fucking anything. And I even said it about 20 times to give you a chance. He's banned. He's gone. Come back tomorrow? Should I time him out instead? We can time him out instead. I'm down for that. Slash timeout. Racer. Shit, 24-second. God damn it. Guys, how many seconds are in an hour? I gotta do this in seconds. Or how many seconds are in a day? How many seconds are in a day? Here we go. It's gonna be timed out for... He's gonna be timed out for 80,000 seconds? Yeah, 80,000 seconds. I can't even two people, he said. I can't even two people. What the fuck does that mean? Oh, timeout people? Yeah, because I thought I could do it in hours. I don't time out anyone ever, so no wonder I can't time out people. 60, oh, hour or day, sorry. Yeah. I meant how many in a day, so we can't come back in tomorrow. There's like 86,000 in a day. I timed him out for 80,000 because, I don't know, quick math. He should be back to be able to join stream at some time tomorrow. See if he has anything to say. Probably towards the end of stream tomorrow. He needs to meet the ugly stick. I think he is the ugly stick. To me, his messages are deleted. Yeah, they should be. They're just not deleted on the chat thing because the chat thing is through Restream and it doesn't do that. I missed too much of that. Going up. I will be editing down highlights of it and posting it on YouTube. Don't worry. That was pure content. The reason I let that go on for so long, one, it was entertainment, but also that was just pure content. Pure brain rot content. And doesn't everyone love brain rot content? Oh, Racer DM'd me. He said, I'm just wondering why you're so mad at me and why you only started getting mad when I started talking about money. It seems like you have some deep-seated issues with that. Want to talk about it? Guys, do we think I have deep-seated issues with money? Chat, what do we think? The ugly stick is what my great aunt called the rolled up and taped newspaper she whacked her dogs. That's fucked up. Don't whack your dogs with that. He might need it, but don't whack your dogs with that. Only whack a Racer with that. Oh, he sent another thing. Editing it down sounds a lot like I'm gonna avoid the L's I took. Sounds a lot like I'm gonna avoid the repetitive nature of your own comments, Racer. Anyways, we're not responding to him anymore. He's fucking banned for less than 24 hours. He got lucky. He got less than a 24-hour timeout. I left for 2 hours, came back and it was still going. Yeah. You came like kind of near the beginning, I think. Then you came back right at the end. This one was bordering on harassment. Yep. But you know what? It was funny. Because what I just find idiocy to be funny. So I'm just going to take that and call it funny. Dude is spamming my fucking whispers right now. Right now, live is Pinko, who's an unironic Marxist, Leninist, Stalinist, Tanky, who is defending the USSR murder of kulaks. Yeah, that sounds like him. I've heard about him a couple times. Anyways, guys, it is 2 in the morning. Originally, I was going to end this at like 1. It is now 2. So we're going to hop off. I'll be back here at 8 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow/today. I'll be back here in less than 24 hours, basically. It's 3 there. Jesus Christ. Everyone needs to go to bed. It's right here. It's 2 in the morning for me. I stream at night. I stream at 8 p.m. Why would I be streaming at 8 a.m. when it is 2 in the morning for me right now? Oh, are you fucking stupid? You think I don't sleep? I need my beauty sleep, bro. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you all for being good. Minus the little bitch that is now timed out. I'll be back here tomorrow. Peace out, motherfuckers.